I didn't recognise you with your clothes on, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Millionth Show. My name is James, joined once again by my co-host Henry and special guest Tom for the Man with the Golden Gun. This is the ninth episode of our, well, actually 10th episode plus Casino Royale of our Bond
Wonderful.
review series. Before we get into it, though, I want to encourage people that are listening on Spotify or any of your other podcast services to leave us a 5-star review. That way we can grow. That way we can get a bit bigger, and that'd be really great. And if you're on YouTube, leave some comments. Give us some suggestions how we can improve. If there's different things you'd like to see us try or change up, we're very open to suggestions. So just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Now, The Man with the Golden Gun. This is I really enjoyed this film actually. Like I've seen, obviously this is always one which I've always had as a bit of a mid sort of Bond film, but for me personally, I watched it. We watched it last night. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. It's like it's very straightforward. It's over quickly. It's entertaining. It has some high highs and some low lows, and unfortunately, most people remember this film by the low lows. But if you can ignore them, I think you've got a pretty solid film on your hands.
Mm. Yeah, I would agree with that because, this is generally like people I assume they kind of remember it for being like goofy because of like, knick-knack, you've got the short henchman. The fact that Scaramanga, his notable trait is that he has like a third nipple. But I mean, you also get Roger Moore and the woman beating moments. So it's like with like the short when they they were still thinking they're writing for Sean Connery or something. Which he himself actually, Roger Moore wasn't comfortable filming a lot of it, but they just tell them, just go ahead with it anyway, and he was just like, right then. Which I think they must have ironed out by like The Spy Love Me and Moonraker, but this is still like you said before, James, like a transition film kind of.
Yeah, and Tom, what's your relationship with this film then?
I mean, it's always been mid for me, but that's not bad by any means because it's in amongst all the other James Bond films. But like, it's very like entertaining for me. Like, this is one of the films I'd watch if I just wanted some like entertainment for a bit, and then like or something just to I don't know. It is like not too complicated, and it's like not too like. It's got a lot of good things, but it's got a lot of like funny little things that give me a couple of theories about several parts of this film, which is quite interesting. So it's all right.
So we obviously begin with a gun barrel sequence, and once again we have an opening sequence, a pre-title sequence without James Bond in it. So this is the second consecutive film where that's the case, I believe.
Oh,
it's funny
technically,
because when I think of opening title sequences, I always think of Roger Moore's ones. But it's funny, I never realised that the first two films that he's in doesn't have him actually in the opening title sequence. I mean, the ones following it obviously all have iconic opening sequences, pretty much. But this one, again, it actually doesn't have him in it.
Well, technically, actually, he is in it. Roger Moore technically is in it because
the wax.
You heard about.
He's doing a bit of a Madame Tussauds job there. Yeah. But we do see Knick-Knack, Scaramanga, and Miss Anders. On the beach.
From Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, sorry? That's what I was thinking.
It's similar, isn't it? But they're all on the beach chilling. We get a good look at Scaramanga's third nipple. So we're straight in there. We've already seen if you've never heard of this film. I mean, if you've never seen this film or a Bond film, and you're just like, okay, I've heard this film has this midget guy and this 3-nipple guy. In 10 seconds, you're already like, oh, okay,
yes,
well,
it's like
that's not like
one thing that I really like. One thing that
they get on with it.
Yeah, one thing I really like about this film, is that it introduced basically all the main characters right at the beginning, and it feels like you're with them the whole time. And I really like I prefer it when it does that other when it's like spreading out people getting in. It's like,
I like that they get Christopher Lee like straight out of the bag because it the fact that like most times I think it's better that the audience stays with the same amount of knowledge as like the protagonist. But in this case, the fact that that Bond doesn't know who Scaramanga is, it contributes to but the audience does. It contributes to some great oh damn moments where like like he sits next to him and he doesn't actually know who he is and so on and so forth, until he introduces himself, obviously. And like this kind of reminds me a bit of the From Russia with Love opening, because it's like in a way, because it's like I mean Bond. This isn't like a Bond death fake out thing, but they have like something that's kind of close to it, with the fact that it demonstrates his capability of like taking out this guy, even when like the fun house is set against him. Like he only has one bullet in his gun. He doesn't even have his gun to start with. Like Nick Nack has just like hit it halfway across the like building or something. He takes out this guy and then immediately like he takes his gun and just like shoots off all the things of this like Roger Moore mannequin he's got in his house.
Yeah. Which is a bit the only problem I have with the whole Funhouse is that he has the mannequin there. Like, this kind of undercuts like the whole like James Bond being a secret agent. Like, you can literally buy like in that world, you can literally buy like life size like whatever versions of him, and it's a bit like, I don't know, like
This
just
guy's obsessed with him.
it just
though,
it just undercuts him a bit, like undercuts the like the suspension a bit. But I will say, like, yeah, it's a really good like setup to Scaramanga and everything, and yeah, I think the music's a bit underrated as well. Like, especially when they're going around in the fun house at certain parts, it's
Yeah.
like really good suspense.
Yeah, I love the lighting and all like the effects like as well in it. I mean, I wouldn't say the effects for the Funhouse have even like aged badly. Come to think of
No,
it,
I
'cause
don't
to
think
be fair,
so.
most of them are practical as well. Anyway.
Like, also, one thing that I noticed when I was a bit older, like, um, the really like it's kind of really interesting relationship, henchman villain relationship Nick Nack and Scaramanga have, because he's like, if you think about it, Nick Nack's the only one who's basically paid to try and have his boss killed, really. Like, he's meant to get these people in, and like, but Scaramanga like welcomes it because he wants to be challenged and be like
Mm.
the best hitman or whatever. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then he's like, yeah, you better do better than that to get to my money. And it's like quite, yeah, it's creative.
Mm.
Yeah, it's certainly creative. I think what you said about the waxwork. I mean, I think we better come back to that at the end of the film, but it definitely does provide good shock value, and it's straight away. It's like Scaramanga's obsession with Bond, and yeah, I agree. It's like it is a bit. You have to suspend your
Yeah, your disbelief.
suspend your disbelief to like accept that that's there. But then again, you wouldn't bat an eyelid when the girl from Russia with Love had a photograph of Bond. I mean, and this is like what 15 years later. This came out in
Yeah,
1974.
but
To be fair, a
like,
photograph from from like people spying on him is different from like
yeah,
making a mannequin of him.
you
Then
think they
again,
would
maybe they
have
just made the
people on
mannequin
file
based
like
off the
that?
photograph.
That's what I
Maybe.
think. And obviously, Scaramanga's far wealthier and more resourceful. So I don't think it would be. I mean, it wouldn't be such a stretch. This guy lives effectively on his own on an island. Has a lot of time to. He probably, it wouldn't surprise me if he
He
has
made it
something like
himself.
that there.
Do you reckon like he just like pulls up a chair and just talks to him like has a full conversation with this
Yeah.
like
Well,
like
It does like a
plastic.
role
presumably
play.
dresses him up in real clothes. So
Yeah, true. He has to replace his fingers every week or something.
but yeah, I think it's good. It gets you straight in there. Yeah, because they could have easily gone down the route of not revealing Scaramanga's identity until much later on, but then you'd be going down the same kind of road as Doctor No or
Yeah.
Blofeld. So
Yeah.
maybe, I mean, it is good. And obviously, when you have an actor as esteemed as Christopher Lee, you want to use him as much as you can, I think.
Mm.
So then we get the title credits,
It's a
which is
catchiest song as well.
performed by Lulu.
Hmm.
So obviously we'll rank the songs at the end. But what do we think of this one? This is like
You've heard me singing or
strange one.
humming it like all the time. Like, I don't know, it's just so catchy, and like it's very like out. It's very like different from traditional Bond song, but like I think that's good for it. Like, it's extremely catchy. It like makes you remember it, but it's like not like it's not like one of those earworm songs that's just trash, and like it's like the lyrics are relevant to the villain or whatever of the film, even though it's like loads of entendres and stuff. But like, yeah, I think it does everything it needs to for a Bond song, and it's memorable as well. So it's what it needs to do.
The thing that I
It's
find
like one of those sort of. I don't know.
Like
I'm not
the
saying that about
the
this, but you
bad
know
ones
how
as
you have
well.
like really trash pop songs that just stick in your head because they're memorable,
Yeah.
because they're like scientifically programmed to like stay in
Yeah,
your
that's
brain.
what I
They've
was.
like
That's
they
what I was
engineer,
talking
they
about.
literally engineer like songs for like for like industry plant singers like Stormzy, Dua Lipa, all that shit. Ed Sheeran, like or Pop Smoke. Not Pop Smoke. The other guy. The guy smokes like 40 fags a day, 80 fags. What's his name?
Snoop Dogg.
Post Malone, I think his name is. Um, so like they engineer these songs to like stick in your brain basically, whether they're good or not is irrelevant.
I mean,
And
the
this
thing
this
is,
kind of reminds me of that. Not that it's like, and except it's like it's weird. I would never be in the mood to listen to this song, but I mean, you could find me in the mood to listen to any other Bond song, really. Well, most of them. You know my name, or fucking The
Spectre.
Living Daylights, something. I could be in the mood to listen to one of them, or Spectre. But for this, I'm never in the mood to listen to this. But when I do hear it in a playlist or something, I'm like, oh yeah, shit, it's that
Yeah,
it's
so
the Man with the Golden Gun. It's like it's good.
The only thing I have
Yeah.
to say about this, like the film version is like for some reason a way higher pitch than the original when you listen to it on like YouTube or something, which like I always find weird when like I think they must have done it with one of the other songs, but I can't exactly remember which one it was. It just like sounds like weird, and I don't know why they did it with this one because the one in the film sounds worse than the actual like one that you can listen to. So I mean,
Well, at least
I still think
that's
it's quite
something.
good, but
I don't think it's.
not exceptional. I think.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not like music, like intellect at all. But like this,
Yeah.
like this, like film. This song is like. I'm pretty sure that came. Surely it came out before they knew about like earworm technology or whatever to make these
Oh yeah,
modern.
yeah. I'm not saying that this song is
It just
that.
feels
It's
like
not.
it.
But it has that same catchiness to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's I'm just using it to compare it like that. I fucking completely forgot to mention with Live and Let Die, the previous film, that actually got Oscar nominated for best song.
Hmm.
I completely forgot to mention that. So
Yeah,
shout
it's
out that.
understandable.
Yeah, definitely. But then this song also suffers from like because it's very high energy. This song, like "Live and Let Die," they're both very high energy songs. But then they both like really sag towards like the
Yeah.
middle sort of end. And I hate that. I don't know why
I
that.
don't know why. Like,
I think
just keep it
like
going.
I did read some
yeah.
funny trivia as well. I mean, I wasn't going to mention this, but fuck it. So because it's always kind of fascinated me how they film the actual title credits. We haven't really addressed it before.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like I'm going to mention it now. So I saw some trivia where basically, so they do get nude dancers to obviously record these things, and then they silhouette them against some like interesting backdrops. And obviously back then it wasn't so fashionable to be shaved down there, like. So I mean, they had full bushes going, man. Do you know? And sometimes you can actually notice that in the earlier Bond films. So anyway, they had one of these nude dancers. Her like bush was like sticking out too much. So they had to like comb it down basically. They like kept telling her to comb it down to flatten it out, and then she couldn't do it. So like she told like not the director, it wasn't Guy Hamilton, it was one of the like B operators, whatever, the assistant director or something, like got the comb or like the brush and was doing it himself, man. And Roger Moore was looking on at all this happening with one of the producers, I think Harry Saltzman, and he was like, "Oh well, seems like producers don't get all the perks, something like that." So yeah, different era for sure. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, I could have died, not knowing that, but
Yeah,
Yeah, I
me
just
too.
thought, fuck it, I'll throw it out there. So then we
yeah.
get
Well,
Spade.
at least Roger Moore is quips IRL. So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Roger Moore must have been great to be on set with, man. You see, like half the trivia is always about his personality and
yeah,
his
exactly.
like jokes and his little pranks that he pulls. They must have been great to have been on set with him, man, and just be around him. He just seems like he comes across like in his interviews and stuff, just a genuinely like really like salt of the earth kind of bloke, like great sense of humor. You can see, and that shows through his like his charisma. He's just charismatic.
Mm.
And this is why I like it.
Arguably,
This is probably why he's my favorite Bond as well. He's so charismatic, he's so charming, and that is how. I mean, it's not really how Bond is. Bond's meant to be like a sort of cold-blooded killer, right? And it's funny because in this film, in the plot, they actually went to lengths to try and make him more like that. And the
Yeah.
context around that it obviously influences those decisions as well. But Roger Moore is just so suited to being like this charming sort of like you know, he said himself, you know, Sean Connery was the killer and I'm the lover, you know. And in the first two films, that he's not really fully established himself yet. And then I think from the next film onwards, then we get like 100% full blast, unfiltered Roger Moore, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. I mean, I'm glad that they actually did. They like, because when it came to when they were like trying to basically make him be Sean Connery in this, like, you know, be that cold blooded assassin, it just doesn't work. Like the lines that he says, like even no matter what, you know, facial acting he does, you just can't believe it because he looks too, like, you know, kind, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So what we get now is Bond goes and meets with them, and straight away we're given the premise where, you know, he's been sent a bullet with a golden bullet, sorry, with his name, his code number engraved in it, and he's been relieved from this assignment. And you know, what I
Kind of
really
service.
enjoy this conversation, Bond with M. This is like a really unique kind of conversation because it's very interesting back and forth. The dialogue is great, and then at the end, I just love that moment where, you know, Roger Moore, he sort of turns around and goes, "If I found Scaramanga first, that would change things, wouldn't it?" And Bernard Lee just looks up and goes, "Dramatically, wouldn't you say? Good day, Bond." And then looks down. You see just like the smallest hint of like a sort of cheeky little grin, and he does care about Bond, and he's encouraging him to do something which is against the rule book, you know. But then he's also just like, I don't know. I love that little line. Just very subtle acting there. But I think, and Roger Moore sort of like his face, you know, is just like basically been given permission to go and like, you know, I don't know. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I like it. It's just like, because like normally I mean M isn't like always like, you know, going after Bond, but he's like, you know, like of all the people who has to cut him down to size, it's mainly him. But like there are just occasional times where he'll be like, you know, like he's backing him, you know, and he'll like,
He
uh,
backs him a lot, I think, actually. Like,
Yeah, but usually behind his back, not to his
yeah,
face.
yeah. But
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like the
just like he
best
won't
kind,
admit
isn't
it.
it? Though.
But those people are the realest, man. They chat shit to your face and then like big you up behind your back, man. You know, like
Yeah.
M's a real one, man. Anyway, and it is funny because he goes on to say later on, like, "Oh, I wish he had put a bullet in you," something like that, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah,
so yeah.
it's very
Anyway,
interesting.
so after Bond meets with them, he goes, he's looking for double O. He has a quick chat with Moneypenny, which leads him to go and investigate the death of 002, who they
Yeah.
believe was killed by Scaramanga. And I'm a bit of an idiot, man, because for some reason,
You always
I
thought it was
always
the guy at
put,
the start.
yeah, I always thought that was
Yeah.
002, but
I thought
obviously
that for a little
he's not.
bit, but I kind of realized
By the
because
way, the guy
guy
at the
was very deep.
beginning was in Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
think it's
he
the
was one of
same.
the he was one of
Yeah, yeah, he was one of the
Slumber's
goons.
lackeys,
Goons,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I got a
He
brother. I think he's that one.
Yeah.
no, it's
No,
not.
he was
He's the
like,
one who
I
calls the guy
didn't know there was a
stiff.
pull down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you kind of tell when then you can't unsee it. You're like, oh yeah, no, I do. Yeah, no, yeah.
I think is it the same character though? Because I think it is. Because he has the same kind of. I mean, I don't
Could
know.
be, could be. You know, it
He has
could
the
be.
same kind of mannerisms and stuff that I noticed.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Maybe. That would be cool.
Anyway, so Bond goes
With
to meet
some
this belly dancer.
Yeah, there's always a belly dancer, man.
I like this. I like this. I love this scene. Actually, you know, this is my favorite belly dancer scene, man. Like, not the belly dancing itself. It's not. It's pretty textbook
Yeah,
sort
because
of.
like
You
why
know,
would this
the belly dancer suddenly wants to go towards
yeah,
Bond
but
each
why
time.
is it always in Beirut of all places? I don't think they'd allow that, you know.
yeah,
Just in the
Well,
Middle
anyway,
East,
he
so
goes backstage afterwards, goes into a room, you know, and
it's
you know,
so
he's trying to
awkward though.
charm his
Like
way. No, I love it. It's so
he
funny, man.
just
I love this. This whole scene is so Roger Moore, like the cheesy sort of jazz music, and then he's trying to improvise. He's trying to like, he's trying to kiss, like, because he can't get his hand on it,
suck
and
the
then he's
bullet
like,
out.
yeah, trying to, and then he swallows it, and then
by
you get
accident,
this,
yeah, because someone hits him.
yeah, and you get this fight. Yeah, these three blokes come in. They have this fight. I love this fight. I love the music. It's so high tempo. It's so high energy, and it's like it's not very well choreographed. But Roger Moore, he takes a pounding, man. You know, to be fair, and like you know, I like this fight. It's in a confined area. The music is great. Just adds like a lot of. It's like Roger Moore style, where it's not like overly serious, but it's like it's entertaining. You know, it's pure entertainment. I think it's great.
And you even get to see the camera crew at
Yeah,
one
exactly. The
point, which
little
we
film.
must point out. I like the little joke at the end where it's like, oh, I've lost my charm, and it's like not from where I'm standing. And
Yeah,
like, he
I
just
love
goes
that.
into-
Like, just
Yeah.
like it's just a great thing. He has like he's like starting with like all this charm and like his like that's kind of like comedic in that bit. You have like the fight, and then he just caps it off with just like the perfect one-liner, like, and he just leaves because like he's got like
He gets in
five
the
other
taxi like
goons
to the
playing.
nearest pharmacy,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that fight's great. I mean, I guess you will pretty much agree with me there because there's not really much to add, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only Roger Moore could pull off that like really awkward scene where it's just like this person's belly button and him trying to like get out with this really awkward music playing as well. It's like, okay,
I think Sean Connery could probably pull that off as well.
maybe, but that'd be a
I
stretch.
could see him doing
think.
that. But anyway,
Maybe.
so then he's and basically the charm, the lucky charm is obviously the flattened bullet that killed 002. So then, oh yeah, there's a great line as well. He goes, "Well, at least he died happy," like.
Yeah.
So good. Anyway, so Bond goes and takes this bullet to Q, and again, I love the character development in this. There's a lot of character
Yeah, there's
development
a lot
with
more
M
Q
and with
stuff in
Q.
this.
You see them multiple times, and in this one,
Yeah,
Q
there's a
is
lot more
actually with one of his
references to stuff.
boffins, and they're having like this really highbrow, like 200 IQ debate, about the bullet. Like they're just like really top of their game sort of stuff. And Roger Moore's just like, man, this
By
guy's
the-
trying to kill me. Give me some answers, man.
Yeah,
And they're like, they're trying to explain it to him in like layman's terms and stuff.
Yeah,
It's-
and he's
I
just
don't
like,
know.
obviously we're looking for the manufacturer, like.
Chap who made the bullet 007.
Yeah.
Instead of saying I agree, it's I concur.
I
And by the way,
concur,
like,
yes.
I don't know if you noticed, James, but this guy, like, with Q is like some guy from Faulty Towers when they like have hotel inspectors. Like, I don't know, but I
Oh, no
instantly
way.
recognized it. after
Interesting,
seeing
because
that.
obviously you've got John Cleese sort of connection as
Yeah,
well.
true.
But anyway, you know what? Actually, while you're talking, I'm going to look something up.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that belly dancer is the same as that French. Surely not, but maybe. It kind
The
of looks
French
this.
what?
The French lady in 40 Towers. You remember?
Maybe.
I'm going to look that up in a
no,
moment.
no,
I
no.
mean, that's a big
that-
stretch. But one thing, while you do that, one thing
Nah,
I
that's
also
not her.
one thing I
don't think
also
so.
want to mention quickly is like the only thing that kind of disappoints with this Q scene is like often there's always like the stuff going on in the background. Like this one, it felt like it was kind of lacking. They just fire an explosive and that's it. It's just like, cool, man. I want to see you like lowering like with Diamonds Are Forever. They're just like lowering like way too many missiles into like the front of a car for no good reason, or like they're always saying I mean, I don't want to spoil the future films of the gadgets that just go on in the background. For those who haven't seen them,
I think
in case
compared
you are
to
watching
other,
along.
I think compared to other Roger Moore films, like this perhaps had a lower budget. I'm not quite sure, but the good thing is that they managed to. If they did, I could be completely wrong. They managed to hide it very well. I think like it doesn't show as much as Diamonds Are Forever, which is blatant.
Yeah,
Was
that's
that?
true. And yeah, I think in this film in particular, I mean, we're about to get to it because basically the bullet leads him to go to the bullet manufacturer, guy
Oh,
called Lazar. So he goes to
Yeah.
meet him, and what I love about this film is how they really make the most of the locations they're in.
yeah.
This for me is like what Bond is all about. He's like going to this location, you get to see all of the sort of culture that's there. I think it really immerses you in it, and we've seen it in other films like You Only Live Twice. It was very like that felt very immersive as well. But for this one, it feels like a bit something a bit different. It's like Bond is really in there, and you're really with him.
Yeah.
You get to
This
see
is
all
in
these
Thailand
exotic
or
things.
Japan? Yeah.
Yeah, because well, the thing is that it helps that he only has to really, he's really looking out for himself in this one, plus whoever else. But it's really himself. Like he has to, he's the best secret agent for that MI6 or whatever, and then like, so he has to protect himself. He's not like defending some whatever, I don't know, some government interest or whatever. And so I think that helps with the immersive side. Just him
What were you
really.
going to say, Henry?
No, nothing. I was just going to say something along the lines of Tom.
Okay, so then he goes and meets Lazar, who he's very I like this character Great
Yeah, he's
acting.
working on a gun for a three-fingered man.
That's right. That's right. So he's like making custom weapons and ammunition. And you know what I like? This is totally feels real. Everything in this film, maybe apart from like the Solex shit, it
Yeah.
feels really like authentic and down to earth. And you're like, yeah, this is great. This totally feels like a real like black market sort of, you know, guy that just makes weapons. He doesn't care who for. He just, and he's
Yeah.
just good at his trade. And Bond goes to track him down in like the middle of nowhere, sort of thing. I think it's really brilliant. And so yeah, obviously the gun. He's making a rifle for the guy with like three fingers, which is an inch too low. So then Bond, is trying to get some information out of the guy, and he's just happens to be aiming at his groin, like the one and only time he's ever done that. Fortunately for this guy, he did go there because the bullet went under him. He goes.
He
And
has
gives-
no chill in this. Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
little,
Bond's got like
one,
smoke up his ass, man. He's
Yeah.
like he's not mucking around, man.
one theory that I mean, it just I don't know. It kind of makes Bond look out to be like a bit more of an asshole, kind of, because he's like in any other situation, he's like joking, like he'll just steal it or something when the person's not looking or whatever, and then he'll just like. But here, he just bulldozes his way through everyone just to get the information he needs.
I mean, this is a good.
His life is on the line this time.
I think this is better like This is like a form of like interrogation that doesn't last too long and it's not too brutal. Like I think, and it's just like I think Roger makes it work in this. Like you don't kind of feel like because in fairness, like you said, he is like trying to get this like world's greatest assassin off his back, and this is like the only lead he can get. So, I mean, unsurprisingly, he would threaten them.
It's just one of those scenes that I think that I can when I see like James Bond being really like threatening him and stuff, I just imagine Sean Connery doing that a bit like better in that capacity. But like
I'm with you, but I think Roger Moore's fine in this one. I think a bit
Yeah.
later on, yeah, Sean Connery would be a bit better. But Roger Moore here, I think this sort of scene works for him. I think the other actor like is bouncing off him really well as well.
Mm.
I like this scene. I think it's good. It's like slightly comedic as well in that sense, in a
Yeah.
way, because the guy's like like oh boom,
rising up the floor.
But yeah, I like this, and it gets him to go and they go to this Asian casino, which is really cool. But I might add, it's very different to like sort of usual casino setting that
Yeah,
we
I
find
never.
in.
I mean, I doubt anyone like either of you know. I mean, I don't know myself. I never understood the whole thing of like with the buckets, like from
No,
a bucket.
I'm not too
Are
sure
they?
about
I
that.
don't
Like,
understand it
I'm
either.
guessing maybe they're like betting on the players at the game, perhaps. Like, I don't know.
It'll be something like that. I'd
Maybe
have
they're
to
like
look
contributing
into
to their
that.
funds.
I'll let you know on my next trip to Singapore, wherever.
Yeah,
Um,
a cow if it's
So
still.
then Bond follows. Yeah. So this like Lazard puts these bullets in the basket, which are given to Miss Anders, played by Maud Adams, of course.
Mm.
So he goes and follows her on this boat past some wreckage, which totally
Won't become
inconsequential.
important,
And then follows her into sort of a green Rolls Royce. Okay.
Mm.
And then it's at this moment we meet Miss Goodnight. So I think it's weird. Obviously we're going to rank the Bond women at the end of this film and the allies, right? And this film, you have one of the best Bond. I don't know. I don't know if you count Miss Anders as a Bond girl, but if you do, you have like one of the best Bond girls probably in the whole series, and one of the worst as well in Miss Goodnight. Do
Really?
you not think?
I feel I don't know, like one thing I was going to bring up later, but it's good enough now if we're talking about Miss Sanders. Like she's like in a different film from everyone else in this. It feels like she's like,
Yeah.
and she's like completely trapped and like really earnest. And later when she's like basically prostituting herself to Bond for his help, like it's like, oh, you can hug me too if you like, and then like it's just I don't know, it just feels a bit uncomfortable and like unnecessary, like that she has to go to this length to like for Bond to like I don't know help her in like the smallest way when it's like completely in his interest to kill Scaramanga as well. He's like just playing it like all like I don't know steely and like, oh, I've been dreaming of a Solex agitator, and like just like using her at every touch and turn, and like even making her make the arrangements like for the thing later, which you could maybe theorize like gets her killed, because maybe that's how Scaramanga found out about like what she's doing, and then like
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, just to touch on that point quickly, I'll let you get back to it. But like, I think if he's making the arrangements, then that raises even more suspicion if she's doing
Yeah.
something unusual. So, I think that's why she would have made the arrangements.
I don't know. I think
Yeah,
it'd
we'll
be
have to
easier.
actually get to that scene
Yeah.
first. So
No, it's okay. I think it'd be great to discuss the character straight away. I mean, she's one of the most tragic Bond characters I think we ever meet in the whole franchise. And you're right, she is sort of in her own film, and I think she's like very well fleshed out. You can like she's well acted. She's got a good like authentic story around her. And then you contrast that with Goodnight, who is like a character there for the sole purpose of like a joke at the end of the film. That's really how I feel, man. And obviously eye candy. But other than that, man, she's
I think she has
really
all right dialogue with Roger.
no. She takes me completely out of the film. She's meant to be like not well. She's MI6. You know, she's so incompetent, so useless, man. Like
Well, we had Rosie Carver, even if she wasn't.
she,
Well-
I think she's worse than Rosie Carver, man.
Well, actually, she
I
does
don't-
like she does like at least point him out to the fact that like because like she pulls up in front of his taxi that he's trying to catch, like to follow this car, and then he's like, oh, man, like you just like fucked up my ride, and she's like, actually, all the green cars, all the green rolls are owned by this hotel.
Yeah, I know,
That's
but
simple.
still, like,
that's
I just don't like her character. But she's just like a typical, real hangover from like those the worst of the '60s Bond films, where it's like this blonde damsel in distress, like can't think for herself, just pining for Bond, like to a really pathetic extent in this film,
Yeah.
where it's just
Yeah.
not believable. It's just like, nah, come on, man.
Yeah, because this is the thing as well, though. Like, I really believed when she was like, when he was like, oh, well, would I ever do something without you? And then she's like, yeah, you bloody well would. Like, but then
that's funny.
and then
Yeah,
later on, she's like, oh yeah, I don't want to be part of like your one night stand, collection.
yeah,
And
I
then,
like that
which
line.
it was good up to then, but then like 2 seconds later, she's like, oh,
Yeah.
just kidding, I've fallen for you, and it's just like you gotta be kidding me, right?
I think like someone mentioned it, and I can't get out of my head really. Like, I mean, she has some good lines, but I mean, someone said like when people are talking about Bond girls being like useless bimbos or whatever, you could say like the one they're thinking of being like useless or like walking around in a bikini is probably like her or whatever. And then like, but I don't know. For me at least, she's behind some kind of funny moments, which kind of like
Yeah.
when there's like really serious stakes of the film, she's like comedic relief sometimes. But
Yeah, I mean, this feels kind of like what happened with Tiffany Case and Diamonds Are Forever. Like it got to a point, and then for some reason it just completely flipped, and then it was like her brain just went out the window or something when they were writing it. It's just like, why? I
yeah,
mean, even
Yeah,
the
that's what I mean. I think she's just and when this film has high highs and low lows, she's one of the low lows, man. There's like really poor character. Although I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think she's sort of the end of of that generation of Bond girls. Though now that I think about it, I don't think you ever get one that's as bad as this afterwards.
you
yeah,
do. You do. You get Stacey Sutton. later.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
forgot
right.
about that.
Yeah, good point. But at least she has some kind of knowledge, man. Like
Yeah,
we'll get
she
we'll
has
get
plot
to her.
relevance at least. So
We'll get to her. Yeah. Um, like Goodnight is completely ridiculous. She's literally there just for a joke at the end. I surely believe that.
yeah, like Christmas.
Anyway,
jokes.
so he meets Goodnight, and then he goes to the hotel where Miss Sanders is staying. He goes and like, okay, so this is probably like, this is probably one of the most controversial scenes in the
Yeah,
whole of Bond.
sure.
So he goes and like, stands outside her shower until she comes
Yeah,
out.
like that's already
What,
bad
for
enough. Like, why is he just standing there with a gun, just like chilling? There?
Yeah. So she comes out and he interrogates her. He's like, like sort of breaking her arm, and slapping her about and shit. Obviously, Roger Moore himself, like you said before, stated that he was uncomfortable with this, which is encouraging to hear. He's not like, proud of it like Sean Connery. I don't know. You can imagine Sean Connery would have relished the fucking chance to do this
Yeah,
shit.
it's like, oh, I could only hit her once,
Yeah, but yeah, But Roger, yeah, he's like deliberately taking multiple takes, man. You know, like, oh, I'll backhand it, yeah, man. But Roger Moore's like, and like you say, you can kind of tell that he's uncomfortable. You know, like I think that is probably because Roger Moore's a very capable actor, I believe, but it shows
does show
through that
through
he's
his
like,
face.
I believe that he was like almost subconsciously like pushing through this feeling that it's like he can't fully commit to appearing this cold-blooded towards women. You know, that's the impression I get. But
Yeah, he
but
says like the most brutal line to
yeah,
her
very
earlier. It's
brutal.
like he's like, oh, and that would be a pity because they're very expensive. Like,
Yeah, when it
yeah,
comes
they're
to
not
using a
worth
bullet
any.
He's like, and it's a shame. I mean, to be fair, we don't know about her involvement, the depth of her involvement at this moment, and nor does Bond, obviously. But when you rewatch it and stuff, you're like, wow, man, she's already like couldn't really be at a lower place, and
The
now
guys on
even
stake
he's like
there is like,
saying like, you're worth less than this bullet. Basically, it's pretty bad and unnecessary as well. Like the violence, at least you can go, well, you know, because what I think is great about this film is it has a really unique dynamic and plot in where, you know, the hunter's becoming the hunted, right?
yeah,
And obviously you get bits of that in other films, but this is kind of the whole plot revolves around like the world's greatest assassin going after Bond, right? And there's just such an interesting dynamic. This is why Bond is like really on his toes. He's really not mucking about at all with anyone. So, you know, if you look at it from that point of view, then yeah, that's why he's going and doing these sort of more extreme things towards other people, because his balls are on the line basically this time. And
You get
Yeah.
this is the thing, like you get like a really serious scene like that. It's like played really earnestly by everyone, kind of, and then he ends it with bottoms up, and then the next shot is like someone's like arse in the camera,
yeah, that's
basically. It's-
easily the worst shot in the whole film. It's just
yeah,
like I did not need to have someone's ass fully on the screen. Like this is meant to be a PG film as well. Like, how could they get away with that?
yeah. I don't know how they thought this was
Yeah,
acceptable.
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But then that's, I don't know, that part of the world. There's probably plenty of places like that. But anyway, so yeah, so Bond goes, yeah, the bottoms up club, no less. He's checking himself out in the TV sort of monitors, and then he sort of meets Nick Nack without realizing it. He's
Yeah, I
right there
love
next
this
to him.
bit. Like
Yeah.
you got that, and then you got the little one hit just right next to him. Like
Yeah. And then obviously, like, you know, someone gets shot, right. We see Scaramanga, he's like banging Miss Anders, you know, and
yeah, he
and
always
then
does it only before he kills someone. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you know, he shoots like someone, and Bond does like this like press up sort of position, you know. I always noticed that. And but anyway, I suppose he doesn't want to get his suit dirty, you know. Fair play.
Do you know what? Do you know what though? Like when the police are showing up, I can't
Yeah,
help
it's the
but
same as you only live twice, isn't it?
I think it looks like it though.
No, it
I
is. It
really
literally is
think
the
it.
same.
Oh, okay, well, I
Same
stand
location.
vindicated then.
So he's and
Cool.
anyway, so like when this guy's shot, you know, Hip turns up at the
yeah,
the
like
place.
Bond's like waving his
Hip.
gun around. Like obviously he doesn't want to get killed himself, but like he's like being so bait. Like it looks like he just shot this guy. Well, then again,
Yeah,
he
so
does
he gets
capture
picked up by he gets arrested by Hip, taken somewhere. I like the music. I swear this music was in a previous Bond film. I was trying to remember what one. Henry, do you remember?
No, I'm gonna
I
be real,
feel
I
like it was
don't.
in Sean Connery, but I can't remember where. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They go aboard this boat. It's all very
Like him
mysterious,
being
very like
super
scary. He's like,
like
"Oh, show me your
suspicious.
ID." He's like, "Yeah, you'll see it later," you know.
Yeah.
And it is like it is tense. I think. Then
Hmm.
like, you know, he's like
Yeah,
going
because
on.
he's like, oh, we're going
Yeah.
to. He's like, yeah, this isn't where the police station is. Like, oh, we're going to Kowloon side. This isn't where. That's not even where Kowloon is. And he's just like, yeah, well,
We go to the new territories.
yeah, the new
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then they pull up next to this wrecked boat, this wreckage. Bond, I mean, these two guys take no more than a life ring to, you know, to
I
slow
mean,
down.
I guess
Yeah,
they
it's not like they're
want,
gonna kill
Yeah,
him.
but yeah, exactly. They're not going
they
to shoot
want
him or
him to
anything.
do it. Yeah.
But anyway, so Bond comes aboard the boat. I forget what it's called now. The
Yeah,
HMS
the
something.
HMS sideways.
Yeah.
Between then we get like a really weird, awkward scene where like Scaramanga
Oh
gets
yeah, yeah.
on his really like cool junk, admittedly, but like he just goes into this room where like Maud Adams is there, and then he like starts like fondling her
Caressing
with
her
the
with his
gun, like
gun.
brushing her teeth and stuff with it, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
like
like
I don't know,
Very
it's-
strange. Very.
I
You
think,
see
yeah,
his
it was-
reaction as well when she's like clearly uncomfortable. He's like you know,
I
like
guess, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have probably put that in the film, but I guess supposed to show that he's like a massive psycho. Like the face that he pulls is just like, yeah, this guy's the person that she's
yeah,
dating.
he's unhinged, man. Yeah, for sure. Oh, he's just got a gun fetish, like
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, you probably
Which
listen.
now it's put some pretty unsavory images in my head. But
Rip
let's
Scaramanga, you would have loved
let's go
a
back to
Joker
Bond.
gun in.
He gets aboard this boat, and yeah, he like yeah, and obviously it's like everything is like slanted, and you've got M there, and this is like
Black
office
stuff.
reconstructed office basically. Q is there, all the top
Gives you a
dogs
new
there.
slant on things, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
it's really cool. Like I think it's
Yeah.
a really unsung location kind of hideout they have.
Yeah, it's quite
I-
cool as well. Like,
Yeah,
I love it when like Hip's like, you know, with the American fleet on one side, the Chinese on the other. It's the only place in Hong Kong where you can't get bugged, or in Macau.
yeah,
Yeah, and obviously this is back when Hong Kong was still part of the British Empire, right?
yeah.
Yeah, barely.
So, yeah, I always find that's quite interesting. And then obviously, yeah, so Bond and Hip, and they're like, oh yeah, it's our man from like the energy crisis operation that they referenced earlier.
Yeah, which was
They
a
don't have
big
the Solex on them.
I like how it ties in. Like, if
Yeah,
there's-
yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I like
Very, very, very convenient coincidence.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
But
This like proper.
still.
This like properly dates the film though for me because it's just like the energy crisis just such like a 70s kind of like thing that people went on about like back at the time because
I don't think there's anything wrong with dating a Bond film though. They're
no,
like
there's nothing
clearly
wrong with
dating.
it, but it just does
It's
does
like a
make me, like,
sci-fi or something.
wow, that is
One
that
thing
is-
that's really interesting about this M briefing scene though is like when he's like, I almost wish Scaramanga had a contract with you, and it's
Yeah,
like,
because
yeah,
like
okay.
everyone has cocked up. Hip's cocked
yeah,
up.
seriously.
So's Bond. You know,
He
they've all
has to go to the
fucked up
PM
some.
about this. He's like, well,
Yeah, and M's like, yeah, exactly. Q is there as well, winding him up as well, irritating him.
yeah,
But it does end with quite an amusing scene because it's like, yeah, we don't have any leads, you know. It's like, well, apart from high fat, they kind of like, they kind of work out that okay, like maybe this guy is, you know, part of that he could afford to hire Scaramanga, who of course goes for $1 million a bullet. And so Bond comes up with this idea, and he what's the word? He gives Q a request, you know, to get us a new
Yeah.
gadget, you know, and it's like, oh, it's a bit kinky, you know. So yeah,
no, he writes it down as well.
Yeah.
And, like he hands it to him. He's like, really, 007?
He won't even let it like
he
pass.
said it at
his
the beginning
lips.
as well. He said like the Latin name for it as well, a superfluous.
Papilia.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Or something like that.
foot-
Afflu or whatever.
Yeah, that was quite funny. So yeah, so Bond and Hip. Oh yeah, and M insists that you know, good night goes with Bond.
It's funny how like M
That's
has
clearly
such
a good idea. You know,
Yeah,
you
it's
clearly don't know what's gonna happen there.
it's funny how
This
M
is, like,
has like
stupid,
a
man.
high opinion of Goodnight, who's like really
Yeah.
terrible agent.
Yeah, so Bond goes to meet High Fat. So like obviously, yeah, he jumps the wall basically.
Yeah, like he's standing on this guy on Hip's shoulders.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah. Because the
as
whole
they
point of
switch,
Scaramanga is no one knows what he looks like, so Bond goes and you know takes advantage of that.
you forgot he met Shu Mi, you know.
Yeah, yeah, no, I didn't forget that. I was gonna mention
Chew me.
Shoot me, you know, doesn't swims well, skinny dips, which is fair. I mean, I mean, I don't know if either of you have done
Sure,
that, but
it's
skinny
like
dipping
that.
is class, man. I would encourage anyone that's listening to this on your summer holidays, try skinny dipping. It's so
Yeah,
good.
ideally
man.
at a place where it's legal, but you know.
Yeah, well, obviously,
I did
But
it
yeah,
on a film set
like the
as well.
sea,
Shoot
just
me.
yeah, the beach. So anyway,
Shoot me.
don't flash though. Don't public expose yourself. Do it on
Yeah,
a
exactly. 'Cause that's a
designated nude beach is perfect.
crime. You might have to call Saul after that.
So you've got high fat there. There was originally I saw some trivia where like there was going to be a character called low fat as well. So you know,
got the joking.
I'm
Wow.
not, man.
High and
That was like in
low
the
fat.
original script, yeah. But anyway, so
No,
we do have
that's
high fat
really
there.
good.
He's like this pretty prestigious sort of businessman.
Very generic, in my opinion.
Bond gets to like you know blow his own trumpet a little bit. He's like, oh, Bond's good even by my standards, you know.
Yeah, it's like he's
And
dangerous, you know.
Yeah, so he's like make it and high fat. You know, I always wonder, right? Because obviously it goes on to reveal later that Scaramanga's there the whole time. But was high fat then like just playing stupid the whole time, or do you think
Yeah,
after Scaramanga arrived? Because that's like when you look back, you think so. High fat knew the whole time. Maybe he knew that was bot, but I don't know. Like would have
I
gotten
think
shot
he
on the
must have
spot. Then
known.
I don't
I
know.
think absolutely he
He
knew.
was just
That's
playing
how
dumb.
I've always thought it, because he's just trying to. I don't know. He's trying to bait Bond out or get info from him rather than the other way around. I'm not sure, but like, I mean, when you see Scaramanga just chilling there against like one of the posts or whatever, and high fat seems quite like comfortable, so it kind of implies that he's been there before and that they've at least met once before. So yeah, that's just how I've always thought of it.
Wow.
Was talk
Yeah,
about his
I
war
like how
saving
like High
stuff.
Fat's also like, man, like you're trying to convince me to give you another million, like just take out this guy, like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I don't
right.
I don't think James
So.
Bond is worth all that.
Yeah.
So Bond is invited to dinner with High Fat, much to the surprise of Hip. But before he does so, we're going to play a game. So
Yeah.
I want to play a game.
hope you've been paying attention. Pay attention to. This is my first time doing license to quiz. What we've done, right? We're going to split because we have 25 canon Bond films. So we're going to split them into 3 blocks of 8, and then the last one will make some kind of decider. So the first 8 was me versus Tom, which resulted in a draw of 4-all. So now it's going to be Tom versus Henry, and I've got a bunch of questions for you. So we'll start off with the 2 traditional ones. The budget. Okay, so what do you think the budget was for The Man with the Golden Gun?
9 million.
I don't know. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 10 million.
Henry was closer. It was 7 million, actually.
Oh,
Again.
Yeah,
really?
like very low budget, like I said, son.
Wow, I even said that. Wow.
Yeah. Now, the box office, the worldwide gross, according to IMDb. Guess what this was?
I'm gonna guess 170 million.
70. I'd go maybe 95 million.
Okay, there are your final answers.
Yeah.
20 million.
20 million.
What?
Yeah.
What?
No
How?
joke. This is like the lowest grossing Bond film ever, pretty much.
Why?
But
We just,
There was some reasons for it that I read, but
that's
but yeah,
insane.
this nearly was like the death of the Bond franchise. Actually, 20 million this made. Like that is like insanely low, man. I couldn't believe it when I saw it earlier, man. So
God,
yeah,
I can
that
barely believe
that
it. That's insane.
how did people just hate Live and Let Die that much? Or
yeah, maybe it was a bit of a hangover from Roger. I don't know. Like yeah, the surprise. I mean, 20 million's like really in 74 as well.
That is
But
nuts. Like
yeah,
what would Live and Let Die make? That wasn't that like well
that made a
above
lot. It
that.
made like over 100 million, I think.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, this nearly killed the Bond franchise dead. I only managed to only just recover after. I mean,
God, did they not have like
obviously,
a giant like bank of like their previous budgets? Previous box offices.
but
So.
yeah. So it's 2-0 to Henry so far.
No, it's 1 to Tom because he got it.
No, because I
I
No,
said
said
you got the
100.
budget and
I said 95 million. He said 70.
and he said 170.
I did say 170.
Oh,
So
all right. Well, lucky
I'll
me.
tell.
Pay
I'll
attention, 007, or I'll deduct
concede
your
that
point, mate.
gracefully.
Yeah.
I'll deduct your point, mate.
All
Okay, question 3. How tall is Knick Knack?
Oh, I was thinking. I can't put it between either 3 or 4 feet. Is this? I'm gonna say 3.5 feet.
4'2".
So Henry's saying 4'2". Henry, Tom, you're saying 3'6".
I'm gonna say 4 foot actually, because I don't know. There's no way someone
No.
can be like 90 centimeters tall. Yeah, 4 foot.
4'2". My final answer.
Okay, and Tom, you're saying 4 foot.
Yeah.
Tom, you win then, because Knick Knack has a height of 3'11".
Oh
What?
wow.
Yep.
Oh, by the
So,
way, we've got some. I've got some trivia about that later, but yeah.
Nice, nice.
okay. So Christopher Lee, obviously a very prestigious actor. He's been in Indiana. Sorry, not Indiana Jones. That's the only one he hasn't been in. He's been in Star Wars. He's been in Bond. He's been in Lord of the Rings. He had a career spanning nearly 200 film titles as an actor. And how old was he when he passed away?
93, I think.
No, it was 98, I think.
97, I don't know. It was
Go
in
on,
the
final
90s, I know
answer,
for
man.
sure.
What's your final answer, Tom?
I'm going to say 97.
Mine's 98.
Oh, Tom got it right first time. It was 93.
Oh, wow.
Your first guess, but
Shouldn't
luckily it's
doubt
still
myself.
Yeah.
93. Yep. So now it's
2-all.
2-all. So 3 more questions here. What room did Miss Anders stay in at the high school?
602.
602.
That's Tom.
Huh?
that
Wait,
was
what
Tom,
did-
I think.
Did you say it first?
Yeah,
I think
heard
I
Tom.
did.
Oh,
I remember
really,
it 'cause
really,
she was...
really want to go for VAR, but
Whatever.
No,
But, like,
I'm pretty sure Tom said that. We can if you want, but
I
I
I
do remember it because she was like, "This is Miss Sanders, room 602."
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
just hung up straight away.
yeah. May I request VAR this one time?
all right, we'll do VAR. Go on then. We've been into VAR now and can confirm Tom was just ahead there, 3-2. Now, like I said, Christopher Lee has a very prestigious career, amassing nearly 200 titles to his name as an actor, including, Star Wars, Harry Potter. Sorry, not Harry Potter. Star Wars, Bond, and what was the last one?
Lord of the Rings, right?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Lord of
And
the
the
Rings.
Hobbit.
Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
Star Wars, yeah, Hobbit, Bond. How many Oscars did he collect across his career?
3. I'm just guessing 3 are right out there.
Maybe 5.
You both sure about that?
I'm just gonna say 3. I have no clue.
We'll go 7 then.
It's a trick question. Christopher Lee never won an Oscar.
Haha.
So
So-
Tom wins by proxy, man.
Wow.
Yeah. What, 7, Henry, fuck's sake.
I don't know, man.
I
Like,
try
when you
to
said 200
I know,
films,
I know.
that.
The
7,
the
man.
Oscars
Okay,
are
well,
so
never mind.
retarded.
Christopher Lee, yeah,
Well,
1-0
sure,
Oscars across his career, so yeah. So Tom's won it overall, so it's 4-2 now. So we have a final question for Pride.
Dignity.
So at the end, we have Bond versus Scaramanga. Among us, well, yeah. Bond fires. Bond has 6 bullets in his gun. How many does he fire before he loses it?
3.
Doesn't he
Right.
fires? No, he fires.
He fires it 4
1.
times.
He fires it 2 in total, doesn't he? 1 he misses when he turns around immediately. And the other when he actually shoots Scaramangas. I mean, but the gun falls out of his belt.
No,
when
he
but
fires
that's
it
not
3
him
times.
firing
That's
it,
my
does he?
final answer.
I'm
Your
gonna
final
say
answer is
2.
3, Henry.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say 2 because. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Henry, you're right. It was 3.
Oh,
3
okay.
bullets.
Well, thank you, sir.
That's right.
I fumbled my debut, but oh well.
No worries, no worries.
Not-
I
not-
fumbled my
yeah.
first 4 episodes and managed to get it to a 4. So. But that's good. Tom's stopped the rot now, so that was licensed to quiz. Tom's back in the saddle now. So,
Where he's happiest.
yeah. So anyway, so Bond now goes to dinner with High Fat. On his way though, he
I
gets
like he's cloned his Scaramanga's drip as well.
yeah. Hip gives him a lift there, of course, and they're accompanied by
His daughter,
Hip's
his
nieces.
Do you know what someone said something really uncomfortable about these
Yeah.
because it's at night or whatever, way after school would have been finished for anybody supposedly,
Cry.
and then they're in these maybe cry past.
Yeah,
and then they're in these
I think where this might be going, you might want to keep it to yourself. I don't know.
yeah, I keep it to myself. Bit unsafe.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Bond pulls up to High Fat's gaff, dripped out, in the white linen suit, like I said, Henry.
It was he's got 8 buttons on that suit,
Double-breasted, of course. Yep.
Yeah.
And so he's it's obviously nighttime. You have this creepy music because he's going through this creepy garden, and then one of the statues comes to life because it's Nick Nack.
I also saw some of the other statues, just the ones that are idle. They're creepy as hell, man. One's someone's got their chest ripped open and shit.
You can see Baron Samedi chilling in there, man, as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get to see
We get to see
2 sumo wrestlers as well. this bit's super. I wish.
Why
wish
did they
to God
have
they
this?
just cut this out, man. When like one of them picks him up, the other one's just chilling by the side, presumably, while this one is like squeezing Bond or something, and like Roger Moore like grabs this guy's ass cheeks, which is
To
just
the
like
the worst music ever
the,
as well.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
like
like
twists
oh,
it.
just please, why am I watching this? You know, and
Like,
then he's like twisting the,
The
you know,
knot.
yeah, it's
Not at the end
twisting
of his-
that like his loincloth garment, whatever you want to call that, G-string, like
crushes nuts, and it's just
It
like,
was so
yeah, really
like
strange.
this could have been so much cooler. Like imagine if it was
You
kind
could
of like
have you could have had a proper good fight scene here, man.
you
The
could no, you
the
could have had like
setup was
a
really
you could
good.
have had like a proto version of like Scaramanga's like hiding around the place, like, and then he knocks him out at the end because it's not his fun house. He wants to kill him in the fun house, like.
I think, yeah, I think this, yeah, that could have worked actually. Never thought of that. I think it's a really good way to, like, I don't know, that knick-knack can infiltrate into or surprise bomb. But like, yeah, like the stakes are really good, and like the music I find just lets the whole scene so badly
Yeah.
down. Like, and they get the closest to killing Bond in the whole film in this scene. Like, he just picks up this like trident thing and he's about to like stab him in the neck or whatever.
Yeah,
And
Hyper's
then
just
like,
like, no, mate,
yeah, he just
gotta
comes up with
clean it up,
the most retarded like excuse ever. It's like, oh, this is my home, blah blah blah. Actually, I don't want to kill James
I
Bond.
buy that though because it's
do as
like
well.
sort of like I don't want to get it wrong where he's from, but like it is that kind of like Asian culture, right? Of like
Yeah, kind
I
of.
buy that, This
Yeah,
guy's
'cause,
like
they're
made it in
afraid of
life.
they're
This is
afraid
why,
of
and it kind of
so-
explains why he didn't kill Bond at first sight when he would have easily had the chance. If he was playing dumb the whole time, he refused to kill him, and he doesn't want blood spilt on his nice
it's
garden.
Yeah, they're
Which I
very.
buy that.
I know about like Japan, but I'm not. I mean, maybe I don't know how different it is in Thailand, wherever this is taking place. But there's like a really big taboo about having someone like die on your property or whatever. And
Of
then,
course, yeah, effectively
Yeah.
would make it haunted or whatever. So
Yeah, no. and
Anyway,
also,
Bond, but so they send him to the most ruthless,
send him to school.
yeah, man. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, take Mr. Bond to school. They're gonna put, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
great,
what a
like
teacher.
doesn't wake up in North Korea torture chamber, man. He wakes up like in heaven, literally heaven,
Definitely.
and yeah, definitely heaven. Sorry, and yeah, he's being like, yeah, I mean, he's probably in like Bond's dream situation, being like tended to by like these, women, sort of like, yeah, I don't know, give him a little massage and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
and
think
then
this.
all these ninjas, well, not ninjas, but like martial
artists,
arts fighters, all assemble, and
Yeah.
I just like this because it's weird. I like
have to
this 'cause
showcase
this is so
everything.
Bond. You're just like putting on display another country's culture, and it's like, oh, it's really cool. It feels authentic.
Well, weren't like kung fu fighting films like quite like popular? back
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I think
you
this
had,
is why I think it was trying to capitalize on. It was trying to
Karate
like
Kid and all that as well.
Bruce Lee like action films. It was trying to like, and
Yeah.
they have Bond fight like some rip off knockoff like Bruce Lee person later. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just so corny in some ways, but
Yeah,
fun.
but if anyone could have made it work, it's Roger Moore. Like you couldn't imagine any other Bond in like this karate club, could you?
No, and Bond totally mocks it as well, man. He's like,
Yeah.
like completely mocks
it's
it,
like-
man. You do see, like, to start with though, those two kids fighting with the knives, man. You're like, shit, like one of them
Yeah.
dies. It's like, whoa, that got serious all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bond basically gets out of it eventually after fighting this like the Chad like guy.
Yeah, everyone's like cheering him from
Yeah.
Shuban or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
no,
he
but,
did.
like the first guy, this guy's like he put on a show almost. Like he's not actually fighting or anything. Like he's doing all these like moves and shit. And like when it comes to like bowing, he just kicks him in the head, and then just like then they like send out the Punisher to get him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get I get the feeling that the knockoff Bruce Lee, I'm gonna call him, like he like definitely bullies whoever doesn't cheer him in these like contests or whatever.
Yeah, like runs his own gang inside the school,
Yeah, so Bond sort of jumps out the window, and then all of a sudden Hip turns up with his nieces. This is like, I don't know. I mean, they could have executed this so much better. But instead, you just have this like really this crappy music, and they're dressed up like schoolgirls and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, their uncle is like the fucking Osato man or whatever.
Yeah, and then he
And,
runs a karate club, you know.
Yeah. And then they're all like fighting. And you just have this community. This could have been way cooler if you had them in some respectable attire, right? And then you
Yeah.
had some cool music, and they're like fucking up these guys, man. You know, then you're like, oh shit, this is cool.
Yeah, like the
Instead,
descent.
it's
of
just
the
like,
roof
oh,
or
this is like, oh, stand back, girls. I mean, it is cool because it's like stand back, girls, and then they go and like fight them for him. But they could have just made it a bit more
Yeah.
serious. I don't know.
something. But then again, you get I mean,
And then,
like,
afterwards, like
ditches
Hip
him.
just drives off with them, doesn't even wait for Bond.
Yeah, that's the
Why does he
worst,
do
like-
that? I will never know.
Yeah, because and his nieces are telling him like, like stop
Yeah,
the
like-
car, man, and then like
like
he's just like, oh,
muttering
don't
something.
care, mate. He's
It's
like,
hang
"Yeah,
on,
above my pay
he
grade."
looks. I don't know, like he looks like extremely happy for like no reason in this scene, and it's like, yeah,
And
is
then
he
in
on
other scenes, he's
something?
like looks like he's on the verge of tears, man. You know, like he's not the best actor. This guy, I don't think, man. He's
Yeah,
like,
he's just happy to be there, you know.
yeah. This is a far cry from like Draco, you know, and all those kind of
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
I think
Um,
he's a really terrible ally, to be honest.
Yeah. I
Well, if
think
you leave
this
him-
is the
leave him-
problem, you know, because this is my problem. When I was watching this film, I was thinking, right, so we have to like I didn't know which category we're gonna rank Miss Anders in. Is she a Bond ally or a Bond woman? Either way, she's gonna get weighed down by either Goodnight or Hip, you know,
Well, yeah, this is why.
which is annoying for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get to that later.
It shows
Bond's what
yeah.
does ensue is a very cool boat chase, punctuated
It's,
by the Right Honourable Sheriff J.W. Pepper on
And
his
we
his
also-
holidays with
we
his
also
wife.
We also get this like this beggar child as well. Who's quite.
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
like
it's
trying
just
to
like, yeah,
sell
man, you
these
don't know how to
through.
work a boat, you know.
And then he gets the boat working. When he gets shoved off, like the mask falls
Yeah,
off. He's like
bloody
bloody tourist. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, it is comedic, but Bond, Roger Moore again, he was uncomfortable with like the fact that Bond would do that, you know, like.
Yeah.
But then I was trying to think, well, you know, it's better than having him on the boat in a life-threatening situation. But like, I don't know if he has any money on him. Probably not. But you know, it's like
Yeah,
could have
especially
probably
not, like,
gone about that in a more tasteful way. But
yeah, true.
it does bring about a bit of comedy, though. That's
Yeah.
the point, you know. We do like the next thing we run into is Sheriff J.W. Pepper,
Yeah,
man,
like his wife is
hurling like racist abuse at these.
yeah, he was like
people, you
so
know.
I didn't like I
He's
never
like,
remember this.
oh, you don't want to know,
So-
but they're Democrats, you know. Like he's like
Yeah,
the
that's-
like most stereotype Trump supporter, man. Like whatever.
Yeah,
He's,
Republican.
if that was made in 2023, man, he'd have the MAGA hat for sure.
100%.
JW
Like,
yeah.
definitely has a MAGA hat. Like
So-
he has a collection, man. You know, he
He
worships.
sells it so
for
well though.
sure.
It's like I don't know. Like this guy's like the complete American on source. You know, he's got the hat. You know, he's got like the
He's got the shorts and the socks pulled up to his
yeah,
knees,
the
man. You know,
bright, shirt, like floral and everything.
he's.
But he is so racist in this. Like,
he's
like
so,
I mean,
yeah, he's so like he feels like he's forced a bit in this film just because of how I don't know people liked it in the last one a bit.
Yeah.
It
do
seemed.
you know what?
And then
I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
I would actually say I enjoyed him. I know this is probably quite controversial. I enjoyed him more in this film than in the last one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe not in the car chase, but I think in the car chase it was a bit too much. But in this moment, it's brilliant. It was just perfect. Like, you know, and you have his wife there who's exactly the kind of wife you can imagine JW having, you know, like I love the pair of them. I love their interaction.
Yeah.
Man. You have the elephant like going in his pocket, like, boy, you is ugly. He gets pushed
no,
in
no.
there,
He's
man.
like he
because
says
he's
so
like,
trying to figure out.
he
Like,
says-
I've seen this guy before. Like,
yeah,
this
that's right.
Bond's
He's like
just, like
using these like
'cause he,
two
like, he's
brain cells.
driven-
He's like, oh, you know.
because like Bond, like in like what in between scenes with JW, like Bond like carves these guys like
Mm.
longbow right in half. Like,
Yeah.
it's
I,
like
I like this whole scene. It's very good, and you
He
do get
says, like-
little. What I love in this film, it gives you little flashes of the Bond theme, different renditions of it. I really appreciated that, and you get that a lot in future Roger Moore films. But I always appreciate little splash of the Bond theme in there. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, but just remind us. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know.
Sheriff. I never noticed like the connotations of this before I like watched it this time, but like when he
It's
says
cool.
to the elephant, "Get your cotton picking s'mores out of my pants," and
Yeah, it's
just
like-
gets I was like, okay. I feel like they after trying so hard not to like avoid all of that and live and let die, like being really careful about the stuff they say or whatever. In this one, it's just
Yeah, but
like,
that's the whole
gloves are
point. JW's
he's
racist
meant to be
in
making
Live and
fun
Let
of
Die
it,
as
though.
well. So like
Yeah,
you
but
know
it doesn't-
he's like to Adam, you know, and he's like putting his
Yeah.
hands. Oh, it's not your debut at this thing, is it? You know, like I think
Yeah.
that's the whole point. And I've got to say, fair play to the actor. I'm sure the actor's like probably like a normal person, but
It's not
you know,
actually
really sells this character well, man. I think it's certainly this moment is probably his best.
yeah.
Later on, he is funny, but it's like
Maybe a bit too much. Like the joke's been
too
going on
much.
a bit too long. But like,
But yeah, anyway. So then we go back to Scaramanga. He's at High Fat Place, and he's like, "Well, you know, that school wasn't very effective, was it?"
yeah,
And
what they teach ballet dancing,
yeah, that's right. I was trying to remember what he said there. High Fat is like cutting him down. So I was like, "Fuck you, man. You know, you're my like you're my puppet. Basically, I'll do with you as I please." Scaramanga's like, "Yeah, fuck you, man." He's like assembling his
yeah, he's
golden gun
assembling
there.
his gun like from all this stuff.
Yeah.
And lighter.
What did we think of this, by the way? This golden gun, like the fact that it's meant to be like they make a really big deal out of it in Bond's folklore and stuff. That like, oh yeah, it's assembled out of a cigarette case and a pen. I really don't give a shit about that, to be honest. It
I
doesn't
think
like
it's kind of cool.
it's cool.
it's
but, like,
unnecessary.
means
Like,
that
just
you
have
carry-
the fully assembled thing in your pocket. What
No,
difference?
no,
would
no,
it make?
because like it means that he can carry it around, and it just looks like he's got bling on him. It's not like a suspicious. He can smuggle it. It's like Goldfinger's car.
That's
Yeah, I
pretty. That is
suppose.
cool, but like,
I don't know if I buy the fact that it's like a functional pen at the same time. Maybe it just looks like one.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
but,
it just
like-
looks like one. What I don't like as well is the fact that he uses this pistol as like a sniper rifle, effectively. Like I know it's the man with the golden gun, but it's like.
He's got a little
I
sight on the top. So
I think that's meant to like show how he's like the best hitman
Yeah,
because he
exactly.
can use a pistol as a
Yeah,
sniper.
but you couldn't. And realistically, you would like
man, if you're that
the
good,
range on it is just not.
If you're
realistic.
being paid
Well,
£1 million
actually-
per like kill, then you
Go on.
probably would be.
and to be fair, gold is quite light, and it's like they said, it's a dum-dum bullet, and it's quite a small one, so it would travel quite far. It's custom bullets, man. He probably thought of that. So
Okay, yeah,
the
fair
death
enough,
with
fair enough.
like high fat though is like
yeah,
I don't know. Even when I was little, like I knew like he was gonna get killed, like
Mm.
because he's like I don't know. He's just so dumb. He's like just chewing out Scaramanga, and then he's like, "Oh, can you like help me? Because Bond like knows me." And then he just gets like, "Yeah, that's no problem."
no
Bang.
problem at all.
Like-
but that would be, I'd have to be
Dead. Exactly. But he kills
Like-
High
like
Fat
kind
there,
of
and he's like,
shaky.
"Oh yeah, I've taken over the business now."
Oh,
Basically.
I love that. That's like my nomination for the Sigma line. It's just
Yeah, I
like,
think so.
So oh, what happened is like Mr. Fat has resigned. I'm the new chairman of the board.
That's right. Yeah, I'm the
Then
chairman.
like next thing he says, like, oh, he really like this mausoleum. Put him in it. Like
Yeah.
he
That
like
is
he
definitely
just kills the
Sigma
guy,
thing.
takes over the business immediately.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, so then Bond goes and enjoys a bottle of Foo Yuck with Goodnight, where she tries her like hard to get act. This is like,
Yeah, which
what
I thought like they actually were gonna stick with that, but they didn't. So
I think
yeah,
it was,
and you have. I mean, it's cool. You get a little bit of like extra knowledge about Q at least with the
yeah,
buttons
it's
on the
got
dress.
Homer in like one of the buttons on the back.
Yeah, so at least that's like okay, like
And that actually does come into plot relevance as
Yeah.
well.
rather than that, it's very
Yeah.
like this just slows down what is otherwise quite a well paced film. So anyway, yeah, like in the very next scene, Bond, is about to make love with Goodnight, but then they're interrupted. And yeah, she's like, "Oh, you don't know how long I've waited for this moment." Blah, blah, blah. You're like, "For fuck's
Oh,
sake,
yeah.
man!" Like, come on. And anyway, they're interrupted by Miss Anders, who rocks up and gives her
Yeah,
whole.
this
She
is
like
like-
explains everything now.
this is what I don't get though, because like if this is true, then why is she so acting freaked out when he goes into a flat first time in the earlier scene? Like, surely she should be like throwing her hands up in joy or whatever when he comes in and like, but no, she's like playing it all like pissed,
Well,
like
to be
angry
fair,
or whatever, and then
she doesn't know if he knows that there isn't a contract on him, so he could actually have maybe found out that she was like basically blagging the whole time, and he was actually going to kill.
Yeah, but she should have known if she knew who he was, like, which everyone seems to in this film. Like, just I don't know. Is like he gets delivered on a plate to her, more or less. She could have like, there's no way in her situation she would have been like, oh yeah, no, get out and stuff like that, and then
Yeah, I
going
think you're
through all
right.
that.
I agree as well. Like, why? Because, like, why does she take all of the, like, interrogation stuff as well?
Yeah,
She could just
true.
go, "Oh no, actually, I sent you that letter. Like, give me an." But then again, maybe if she admitted that straight away, Bond would have just gone, "Ah, all right, don't have to bother then."
Yeah, I mean, it
I
might even
don't
be
know.
possible that Scaramanga bugged her hotel, but I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
why I
there's
was
that as well.
thinking.
But I
Like,
think that's the biggest
that's
reason.
why
I
I was,
think if she lets the cat out of the bag earlier on, Bond doesn't give a shit. He's like, "Oh well,
no,
not
no, no,
my
no.
problem, man."
I think I was thought like that could be an explanation that she got bugged, but like if that was bugged, then Scaramanga would have heard it and killed her right after that anyway, because she's like completely not
Well,
loyal and
then
trying to
again,
get
that
someone
would
to
mean
kill
that,
her.
but she's actually kind of being useful in that she's kind of leading Bond to him. So, and he's always wanted to deal with
I
him.
mean,
So, like, she's doing his job for him.
if she
Yeah,
was
but
bugged, she
Scaramanga
would.
never had any intention of meeting Bond. He literally says that later on.
Yeah, I know
He
he
was
didn't have
like, he
I
was
Well,
know,
just
but
like,
maybe this was just a convenient thing where he's like, oh, well, I've always kind of wanted to deal with him, and she's just leading him to me.
well, yeah, of
And
course. I mean, she
he
knows
literally
that.
has the
She knows
wax
his.
figure he
She knows
practices.
about his
So.
obsession with Bond. They probably sleep with a waxwork figure, in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Like,
but like,
bed,
I just don't. I just don't buy the like. I mean, yeah, I think that's the reason. I think if she tells Bond sooner, he loses motivation. He doesn't give a shit. He goes back to England and like whatever. That's definitely the case.
I don't
Now
think she
she's
would
like,
know
okay,
that though.
man, like help me out, man, like
Yeah.
And I know
Well,
what you said earlier, something about her like sort of using her body to like sort of seal the deal, but
She really does like.
it didn't see. It felt. I mean, we've seen pretty non-consensual interactions in Bond films before, and this didn't feel like one.
she did
I
say, "Oh,
mean,
you can have me if you want,"
yeah, I
like
know she's
not in her
desperate, but
way.
like, I think she's not like, she's not unwilling, put it that way.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not
what Bond
sure.
really
She is
cares about.
desperate for sure, and Bond could have easily said, "No, it's all right. I've got a good night waiting for me here." That would have been actually, you know what? That would have been. I think that would have been really good actually. If like that would have been the honourable thing to do, if
Yeah,
Bond
true.
turned it
Yeah.
down, bangs good night anyway, see you later, sort of thing. I
Yeah.
think that would have been a bit more satisfying.
But he
That would have
needs to
been
get the
more in line
Solex
with
as well.
Roger
So
Moore.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
be more gentlemanly as well. But yeah, that would have made this film a lot better actually. Now that I think about
yeah.
it.
Well, I think they were playing this for comedy as well. The fact that he's literally
Yeah,
got
that's
another
true.
woman in
Yeah,
bed.
yeah. They're
He's
trying
like he
again,
explains
but
that.
again, Goodnight is ruining this film even when she's not directly in the scene.
Yeah, like like I like as well that he explains by being like, yeah, well, he's a three-pillar strategy as well in case someone comes in. It's just like,
In
well,
fact, I think you can
warp
actually
it.
entirely remove Goodnight from this film, and it would make it a hell of a lot better. The only thing it does is lead them to his island, but Maud Adams could have done that,
Yeah,
So
but if she was
I,
the
I
main
think if you
character, well,
completely cut out her character, you get a far better film, like far more streamlined. She's just like really, she's just
it's
adds
just
nothing
play for like the
apart
whole
from
point is just play
the
for laughs.
occasional bit of comedy value, which, come on,
Yeah,
man,
but
it's
like they
not the
they want to
priority
do
here.
the comedy value for that, but then they like turn like Bond into like a completely like horrible person as well. It's like
Exactly.
you either make it
I
serious, or you make it comedic. Like
the only qualm I might have had of Maud Adams being the main Bond girl of this is that she might have been like, I don't know, that might, I know, led to her not being the main Bond woman of Octopussy latest, but because I don't know if they were okay with having. I mean, later they have like Madeline Swan and stuff, but I don't think they were ready for that stage. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that would have changed things.
well,
Yeah.
what
So
can you
anyway,
say?
so
What
then,
if
so after Maud Adams is done sleeping with Bond,
yeah, it's like
she goes
2
back.
a.m.
She
Like
goes back to the junk, Scaramanga's junk, and I just wanted to mention this just because, like, did you notice how Scaramanga sleeps?
does he
The
just sleep on
position
his
he's
back?
in, it's like pretty much how a Sigma sleeps. He's like there in his bed. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I mean, because he literally was Dracula. Maybe it's just habit from that.
yeah, true. Um. So anyway, yeah, and she's putting away her jewelry, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, well, no, you get to see the Solex, you know, in the safe.
Yeah, that's right. So
Yeah,
Bond
which
and
he just
Goodnight,
keeps on
they
his
sort of kiss and
passport.
make up, and
yeah,
you know,
after that.
and it just shows how low her she has no will of her own, man. Because I'm resigning in the morning, you know. He's like, it just makes her look ridiculous. It's just like, and Bond just talks out of it in like 2 seconds. It's just, I hate it, you know.
Do they actually make up? Because she like kind of leaves, doesn't she? She's like, first, James, you must be good, and then just that's it. I don't think they.
I
Do
would
they
like
make
to
up?
think that she walks away from it, but let's be honest, probably not.
Hmm.
So
just
anyway,
walks out the door, then comes in 2
yeah.
minutes.
So anyway, so Bond goes to this kickboxing match, which looks really cool, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
to meet her, and she's just like,
yeah, to meet Miss Anders, and she's sat there like she's turned into Madame Tussauds like waxwork as well, because like if you've been shot, you're not stood upright like that, are you? You're not sat
Yeah.
upright. You'd slump forward or something.
well, maybe he's like put like a metal bar like down like her like dress, so she's just like.
Even if they did that, how's her head still up?
No
I
idea.
don't know.
Maybe
I don't know.
Knick-Knack's pulling some strings at the back, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Anyway,
she's like.
so
By the way, I did
Bond is
see.
there, and he's like looking for the
I did.
Solex. You know, doesn't really give a
I
shit
did
about
s-
it, man. He's just like,
Yeah,
know.
Yeah, no,
literally. Just
he's
like,
he's
well,
really
too
cold
bad.
towards her. Like, but
Yeah.
I did. This is a really small thing I noticed when I saw this. I actually, when the camera's like going off to focus on James Bond's face, I actually kind of see Mordaunt's blink as well, which is quite. I don't know. It's just a little mini mistake which I happen to notice.
The
Wow.
one thing, 'cause,
Probably
like,
just
sort
gas
of thing-
escaping or something. You know?
yeah, Scaramanga sits down like next to him, right? And he's like, "Oh, don't bother looking in the bag. I've already searched." And the Solex is on the floor. How didn't you see that? Like,
Yeah, no, it must
Yeah.
be blind.
This is. I mean, you get Knick-Knack. Turns out he's behind with a gun and a bag of peanuts.
yeah, like a double barrel like pistol for some reason.
Yeah, revolver. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
You know, like
Gun-
I wanna
like,
mention
but
the
Scaramanga himself, this is like the big reveal sort of thing, and it is cool
Yeah.
for a bit. But then he just like starts like
Going on
just
about his
he
backstory.
just starts rambling about his like life story. Bond doesn't give a flying fuck, man. He's like looking around for the Solex, you know. He's like
let's drop
he's sort of
my
sat there
peanuts.
like he's having a similar reaction to how he was with Solitaire when she's like talking about the
Yeah.
whatever, like when she's lost her virginity, you know, sort of thing. And Roger Moore's there, he's like, oh, okay. And
Yeah,
they're
just
like,
a few eyebrow
you know,
raises,
it's the same thing. Scaramanga's there, like talking about his life story, like his elephant friend and stuff. And like Bond doesn't give a shit, man. He's like, oh, whatever, man.
Yeah, it's like that's when like by the end of it, that's when I realized I like killing people. And it's just like,
Yeah. I thought I liked animals, but I discovered I like killing people even more. It's like, oh, okay. Suddenly got
very-
serious.
By the way, the trivia is like apparently Roger Moore like hated like Hervé Vangelis or however you say his name, the one who played Knick-Knack, because Knick-Knack would like apparently womanize a lot on the set, like, and he would manipulate the fact he was tiny into like getting loads of women with him or whatever, and then like one time he like bumped into Roger Moore or something, and then Roger Moore said, "Don't touch me, you're diseased," and then yeah, I don't know.
God, they have beef on set, man. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Yikes.
apparently,
One of the
apparently, like Knick-Knack, well, the actor for it did bring back loads of women, like, or something like that. I don't know, but like, I don't know. Must have like some unspoken like.
Well, there you go, lads. You know, it's not all about being 6 foot, is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Scaramanga is going on. He's rabbiting on about like the circus days and all that shit, and yeah, Bond gets the Solex, gives it to Hip, who makes the fatal mistake of giving it to Goodnight. These
just keep
people
it in
are
his pocket.
completely. Bond would have been just better off slipping in his pocket. Film's over. Film's literally over.
Yeah.
But like he gives it to these incompetent teammates from MI6 that he's got. It's just painful to
Yeah,
watch.
it would've
He
been
gives it
better
to
off giving it
Goodnight.
to-
Goodnight like follows Knick-Knack into the car, gets bundled into it by Scaramanga. She puts
Well, she
a
doesn't know that
tracker on it. You know,
Scaramanga's
it's
there,
like-
to be fair. So
Sorry,
she doesn't know about Scaramanga being there. Neither does Hip.
I know, but what's the point? You've got the soul.
Well, maybe she only thinks that it's just Knick-Knack. So just like she's probably like, oh man, even this guy did try to flip me in the trunk, he probably couldn't, you know. Like
Yeah, but like, why is
Yeah.
she trying to track Knick-Knack anyway? There's just no need.
oh, I don't know. Maybe
I
she's just
dunno.
thinking, oh, maybe I'll get bonus credit for this or something.
Yeah, maybe.
A bit dumb.
Yeah,
They
well,
literally-
whatever.
they would have
Anyway,
been better
so
off.
she gets kidnapped.
Yeah, they would have been better off giving the Solex like Sheriff J.W. Pepper, man. He would have gotten it back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, man. So Goodnight gets she gets kidnapped. Bond is like pursuing her, and to do that, he commandeers a car in a showroom,
Yeah.
which is being test driven by Sheriff J.W. Pepper. So
He's like, yeah, like it's like, can I have
Yeah.
a demonstration? He's like, certainly. Boom, and then
Yeah,
just
it's
wow.
great.
And then
the
Hip
only
just
thing is,
gets forgotten at
why
this-
is there's two questions here. Why is JW on his holidays, trying out cars to buy?
Maybe it's cheaper there. Who knows?
Still, I don't know, man. Yeah, but no. Well, he's not going to buy one brand new, then, is he? Right.
You never know.
just
Secondly,
have it.
Maybe it's a rental car
secondly,
place.
why is the showroom car full of fuel, like ready to go, man?
Maybe like for the car bit, while he's testing out car, maybe that's after his car and Live and Let Die got turned into a car boat. So
Okay. Yeah, but those
needs
police.
like
Yeah,
international shipping for a
Yeah.
cheaper car.
yeah, but that was his work car. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I know. My week.
So anyway, now ensues one of the most infamous, I'm going to say, car chases in
Yeah,
Bond
because
history.
I won't lie, the car chase like itself is not very interesting until the stunt. I've got to say, there's no music, is there? Is it? I don't remember there being any.
No, not really. It's like it is pretty one, but obviously the main attraction, if we can say that, is JW and his back and forth. Bond's like, oh, now I know you, and then
You're that secret agent. You're that secret English agent from England.
so and Bond's like, oh no, like
Yeah.
kind of perhaps groaning as well as the audience. I don't know, some parts of it anyway. And they're chasing the car, and then like he's calling Goodnight, and Goodnight's talking to him, and then he puts JW on the line. And it's all this is okay.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, it's headquarters, and then she's just like down on the phone, being like who
Yeah,
the fuck is this?
and now the climax of it, of course, is that they like they're on opposite sides of the river, Scaramanga and Bond. So he sees
yeah,
this
Dick does a little wave,
sees this dilapidated bridge, and he decides, okay, let's do this, man. So like he does, they do like
You're
an
a mouse.
incredible stunt, which is just
Yeah.
one of the great stunts ever, pretty much.
Yeah, like genuine.
It was done in one take.
Like they had a stunt driver. I don't think it was Evil Knievel, but it was someone who actually performed these stunts. But he'd never done it over a river, because if that car had been upside down, they wouldn't have been able to get him out. So he was risking his life for this, and they even said like, you don't have to do this. So in order for him to not be seen by the cameras either, he had to lie down and use the accelerator. And I don't know if he used like a stick to drive or something, but like this guy proper put his life on the line, and they put a fucking slide whistle over it. Like, I don't know why. And then you've also got the car of JW Pepper falling into
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
the stunt is, and it was done in one take, obviously, which is like incredible. This is one of the great stunts like in film history, really. Like, but Bond is obviously like famed for having great stunts, practically done, very little CG, if ever. Everything's filmed on location, more or less. So like you have this really good, and it's just complete ruin. Now the reason for that, Terrence Young, who was the director, or Guy Hamilton, sorry, I always get them confused. Guy Hamilton. This was his last Bond film, and his reasoning was like he thought, apparently from what I read, I don't want to misquote, but it was something to the effect like he didn't think that the people would be interested enough in it. It wasn't interesting enough. Something like that. He just felt it wasn't interesting enough, and then so he put that slide whistle over it. But obviously, since like massively regrets it. So
yeah, he fucking should.
yeah, it's just one of them in it.
Someone needs to there's some people just need to release re-edited versions of Bond films just to cut out that sound effect. Just remove Goodnight from the film.
Remove Goodnight. That'd be great.
Yeah. Delete the whole of Diamonds Are Forever.
Then obviously, so Bond and JW, they go up to this. Well, Scaramanga drives into this barn,
Yeah.
and then his plane, his car becomes a plane. Sort of. This is also a bit silly, I don't think this is really necessary.
Yeah, what was the point of this?
Yeah.
You could have just had a private jet or something.
Yeah, and then you get the police, the local police, and JW's being racist to them as well. Yeah. So anyway, so then Bond meets up with M, I think one more time, or Hip. Meets up with someone to decide that he's going to go and fly over to.
Yeah, with them, because he's like, oh, if I did it unofficially, because Scaramanga's island is in the middle of red Chinese territory back when they still said there were two Chinas. and
Yeah,
so
literally.
like obviously they can't just fly in because of like it'd be like an act of war, like violating their airspace. So he's just like, oh well,
Yeah.
flying on the low unofficially, and then like M's like, yeah, unofficially. So then he just goes out and does that,
Yeah.
and it's a
Do you
boat
know
crash.
what? There's a really awkward scene as well where like, what's her name? Goodnight says like, "Oh, I think we've stopped," and then how? First of all, how? And then like,
Well, yeah, because
they
you feel
think,
the car stop, right?
yeah, and then like she opens the boot and then drops the radio. And do you know what? Like I realized, can you imagine? How does she not like her handbag or whatever with the Solex not fly out? And can you imagine if it did? Like, like the whole film and the climax would have been like completely ruined, and the plot as well, just because Hip gave the thing to her.
Well, we're been through the poor decision of giving it to Goodnight, but what can you do?
Yeah.
Now he has to go to the island, which you get some nice shots of them.
Oh, this island is great. It's now sort of
Tourist attraction.
affectionately known as the James Bond Island. Be very cool to go visit that one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate. But like there was like when it came to filming on set, there was like not like they like you can't really do catering at a place like that because like no one lived there. Like I think it was like maybe like a village at best. I'm pretty sure like some of the crew got ill or something at that spot, but yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't
it's
great.
very cool though. Bond flies there. Um, he's welcomed by Knick Knack with a platter with the champagne on it, and Scaramanga comes and shoots the shit. It's cool because it's like, oh, is he going to shoot Bond? And it's like he shoots the cork off the champagne.
Yeah.
A
There's a
vulgar
really
display,
cool-
but most satisfying.
There's a
Yeah.
really cool like reference, I think, as well, when well, it's a really small reference I know, but I thought it was neat when he was like, Don Perignon second cat, and there's like some number in French, and then Ron Jamal's like, I prefer the 62 myself, just like there must be maybe a dot to no nod or something.
Yeah, of
Bond
course.
franchise thing.
Yeah, well, like we
What I
said
found
before.
interesting here is that Scaramanga has another golden gun. He has like a gold revolver, and he just calls it like a
Harmless
simple
toy.
toy.
Harmless toy, yeah.
I
Harmless
I
toy.
didn't
Yeah.
know if it was gold. I thought it was just silver.
It looks gold. I was paying attention. It looks like a golden revolver.
Like Goldfinger's thing, like
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
like
Very
Yeah,
similar.
maybe he caught it when it fell out of the
yeah,
plane.
you like found it in the ocean or something.
Yeah, just fell into the Red China Sea while Scaramanga was on his circus.
No, it
tour,
lands on
whatever.
his boat, like.
Yeah, landed on the elephant's tusk that was Scaramanga's best friend. But anyway, so Bond is invited to lunch. He's given a tour first of all of like the island, including why Bond doesn't kill Scaramanga there and then is beyond me. He's got the
Well,
gun on him the whole time. He could just
Well, to be fair, he doesn't.
But then
just
Scaramanga says, yeah, but British don't consider it sporting to kill in cold blood, which is
It's like, I don't know
That's
about that, and he like
that's a
reaches for his gun.
really
He's
cool
already
back
got
and
it.
forth, I think. That's a
Oh yeah,
really
but
cool
we'll
back and
get
forth.
to it because he's
Yeah, 'cause
showing off
giving
all
him
the
his
Solex
house
stuff,
tour,
and he's got the that laser gun. This is where it gets a bit silly, with the mushrooms. This is where it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, man, they can't avoid themselves. Like it has to be some kind of space like technology, whatever.
Yeah.
And Scaramanga goes, oh, I don't know nothing about science, and he's like, oh, that's what I call solar energy, like zapping the plane and stuff.
Yeah, it's like I didn't ever remember him saying this, but I only noticed this time. He says, "Yeah, well, he's got this like laser, he just finished using it." It's like, well, now I'm indisputably the man with the golden gun. I was like,
Good line, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
yeah.
whatever.
So then,
Yeah,
he
blows
shoots
up
down Bond's plane. So there's no way off here. He goes and meets God, and then we find Goodnight. Obviously, not leaving much to the imagination. And it's like, oh, I like a girl in a bikini, no concealed weapons. So,
It's quite
like,
funny.
all right, mate.
I suppose. Yeah, so they all have lunch together. By Knick Knack, who happens to be a cordon bleu chef as well.
Yeah, does
Conveniently.
everything.
And they have this conversation, which is pretty well, I'll let you take it away, Tom. You wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool back and forth where like Scaramanga's. I know. I feel like they're trying to go at each other a little bit, but then like Scaramanga crosses the line when he like disses James Bond, like doing it for Queen and Country and
Yeah.
stuff, and getting like pittance of a
Yeah,
pension.
he
as he
literally
calls
calls
it.
him a wagey, basically.
Yeah, literally, and then like Bond like tries to like recover from it, and then he's like, "Oh, there's a fullness of the word, and you're full of it." The most harsh insult that Roger Moore can come up with, and then he just gets the golden gun pulled on him at the end, and then you can tell like it feels like Scaramanga was like living for this moment, just like being able to outwit James Bond, and like even has someone there to witness it, and then he's like, it's funny
Yeah.
because when he pulls it, you see him like look over at Goodnight just to see if she's watching. It's like.
Yeah, it's
just
like that
fun.
was good roast, right? Like,
Yeah, I just find it funny that Roger Moore feels the need to like, go from like reaching for the gun to like, like adjusting
exactly. I
his
know,
tie,
it's
like,
just
oh,
like, yeah,
okay,
I'm just straightening my tie.
oh yeah, just oh yeah, don't mind me there. So yeah, but so Scaramanga proposes a duel for Bond,
Pistols
which
at dawn.
obviously he very humbly accepts. There's a good line as like, as oh, I admit killing you would be a pleasure, It's like, oh wow. So yeah, they go and do that. They go, they meet, pistols at dawn sort of thing. And I think this is just great because it's like it really put the climax of this film is just like the most old-fashioned, old school sort of like showdown you can possibly get. I think it's brilliant, and like you couldn't want a better actor or a better Bond villain for this moment than Christopher Lee Scaramanga. It's just perfect, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
this is like as iconic for me is like for an iconic thing for Bond to do as well. You just strip him down to like how good of a gunman are you?
Yeah.
How good of a shot are you? It's
And
brilliant.
I'm really,
And Scamanga's so confident. He's like one bullet versus six. It's like very significant.
yeah. I also really like the fact that I just love the setting as well. Like this funhouse, like I don't know.
A
It's,
little bit of
they've
trivia
got just
as
like
well.
all the sets, like we got
It
like
is cool.
Al Capone there,
Yeah. They got like all these sets from like random films that might have been being filmed next door or something. But like there's an interesting small deleted scene uh, from this scene where it's like where it's actually revealed that Scaramanga's cheating somehow because he has like these canisters or whatever. I'm not sure if they're like filled with bullets or something, but like the upshot of it is like Roger Moore says like, "Oh, now I know how you do it, Scaramanga," and then like he's like, "Oh, blah," like the he says something about like cheating or like
So he
winning,
has like a
winning or
cache of
something.
extra bullets.
I don't know. Yeah, he's cheating basically, and then Roger Moore finds out, and then yeah, it's
Yeah,
quite
I'm
funny.
glad they
'Cause
would have gotten rid of that because it would remove the fact that he's not like as good as he says. So then the
yeah,
payoff,
it removed
killing
like
him, so,
Scaramanga's reputation.
Yeah, Bond gets to sort of break the fourth wall a little bit. He like almost literally he goes like underneath the scaffolding of the sort of funhouse sort of thing, loses his gun in the process.
yeah,
And Scaramanga's looking around for him. It's very tense. It's very like the tension's really good. The music, the suspense, and then it climaxes in obviously Bond
yeah.
taking the
No, like
place
the
of
music like proper goes like really
yeah,
high, high
yeah,
intensity.
yeah. And Bond takes the place of the waxwork,
When
presumably like takes a moment to like change into its clothes,
yeah,
or at the very least the blazer and the tie, the bow tie. But
Well, we actually see Roger Moore's Bond is quite a quick dresser later, especially in Octopus when he has to get into a clown suit in like
yeah, true.
10
Maybe
seconds.
yeah,
or
it's true. Yeah, very quick. That's very quick. Like I don't know. Like what does he
secret
actually do with the
superpower.
waxwork? He throws it off the edge. So that he has to be very quick to do that. But this is where you have to suspend your disbelief a lot. But if you do, it's just
so
so good, man. It's so you just see him there, and he just turns, and you're like bang, and the look on Scaramanga's face, it's so good, man.
Mm.
And does he not
Yeah.
have? I'm
He
just
doesn't
trying to
make
think
a
now. Does
pun.
he have what gun does he have in his hand? Is it a Wolf PPK or is it a golden gun?
Oh no, Scaramanga's the
Scaramanga has the
golden
golden
gun.
gun.
Bond
Yeah,
is-
but Bond just has a PPK. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he must have taken it from the waxwork. So
Yeah, nice of Scaramanga to have so much attention to detail. He puts a loaded
Yeah,
gun on the waxwork,
loads
yeah,
of
true. But
guns.
well,
and doesn't notice that the fingers were missing. So,
yeah, true. But he maybe just wasn't
you have
paying
to
attention.
suspend your disbelief. Well, I think this is just a really cool villain death. One of the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly a lot
very
better
well
than
sold.
from Live and Let Die, you know.
Yeah, literally.
So yeah, Spawn kills Scaramanga.
In the
He goes and
meantime,
finds,
Goodnight has
finds
knocked out
Goodnight,
his
of
security
course.
guard.
Yep. He retrieves the Rolex from like the laser thing. I think
The
this is kind of
Rolex.
like we could. I don't know. This is just like it's just again like Goodnight's completely stupid, man. She's like leaning her bum into the buttons, you know, and stuff. It's just like, come on, man. This is
Yeah,
like
like he
really,
nearly gets
this is
lasered
really
in the hand.
degrading for her, man. This is just, you know,
Yeah.
not
Like,
necessary.
yeah, not even Tiffany Case did that, you know, like.
Yeah. And you've got obviously, and what I do like those, like there is some good tension here because you've got like she's like accidentally
has actually
activated the
shot the
laser,
laser.
and then the cloud comes and so like nature saves Bond effectively, but almost kills him as well. So you know that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they run out. Basically, the whole place blows up.
Yeah, because she knocked out a guard that like fell into like the liquid cooling chamber, and you know.
Yeah, which is cool because that works out scientifically.
Yeah, I know. It's just like it reminds me of something from something else.
Okay. And then so then we get they go on the junk, you know, they're setting sail for wherever. And we get a fourth act of Knick Knack.
Yeah, he just like pops into the ceiling, man.
Which is like really I mean, every single time, like they find a way to upstage themselves in terms of being able to find a way of like surprising you. And Knick Knack is genuine like shit, man. He's just there. But that's the only good bit. It's all downhill from there, man. Because you just have the worst. The thing that really makes this bad is the music. I think Knick Knack's character isn't too bad, but his theme song is just I hate it. And especially when it's employed in this moment. You know, you've gone from Teehee and Goldfinger and Blofeld, Bunce. You know, you've had some really good Winston Kid. You know, you've had some great fourth acts. So and this could have been a great one, but then they just like have this crappy music and this crappy fight. I mean, there's not too much you can do with a bloke who's 3'11", fight wise.
Yeah,
but I'm sure they could have had him throwing knives at him or something. You know, like better than
they
this
could have
shit.
had like little like passageways or something that he could have gone in because of his size or whatever. But
it's just stupid. I didn't like it at all, man.
But at least Knick Knack doesn't get killed. He's one of the few Bond villains who like
puts him in
gets
a
away
cage,
from
man,
it.
like
Yeah.
And then you get the pun at the end where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
M's calling for good night, and then he's like, "Yeah, good night, sir."
Do you know what though? Like, this is the weirdest thing that I've always wondered about.
Is it from the VHS ad?
How does M like know the phone number of this junk and then like
good point.
That's what I thought as well.
know when to like call it? Do you reckon like and then even when he calls he's like, oh, there you are, Bonds, and like and then this like ties in with his little, oh, I wish he had a contract on you. So maybe it was actually
yeah, man.
Yeah, maybe it was trying to cut a bit overhead of the MI6 budget and
maybe
in a very elaborate way.
Interesting conspiracy theory. I like that.
Yeah, well, maybe you know, well, Scaramanga must have a way of people contacting him, so he's got his public phone number he just puts out there, like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, just ring me on my
someone
junk,
before the dark web, you know, he had like his little column in Yellow Pages, you know.
Yeah, it's like you want to disappear someone for £1 million, you know.
Yeah, only 1 million.
Fat was innocent.
Okay, so let's get on with the rankings then. Bond actor, we have number 1, Sean Connery. Number 2, George Lazenby. Number 3, Roger Moore. I think Roger Moore's done enough to move up to number 1 now. I mean, it's sort of inevitable anyway.
I'd put him at 2 at best at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point.
All right. At this point.
Because he kind of like it's like the. I mean, like for him with his relationship with women, at least Sean Connery can sell that he's a cunt.
Yeah, but it's not like he's done anything that Roger Moore, that Sean Connery hasn't, you know. So I just think
there's a lot.
All right. Well, for now, we'll say for now. Okay. Now we're going to rank the Bond girls. Our current rankings: number 1, Tracy; number 2, Domino; number 3, Honey Rider; number 4, Tatiana; number 5, Aki and the Wife; number 6, Pussy Galore; number 7, Tiffany Case; number 8, Solitaire. Where are we going to put Goodnight? And are we going to include Miss Anders in here, or is she an
I
ally?
think
Does Miss Anders
I
really
think-
count as like? She kind of doesn't count as either. I really think.
so.
She's
I think
definitely. I think she's both, but like,
I think
More
like
of a Bond girl. I think.
I've always seen her as a Bond girl. I've never seen her as an ally. But
Okay.
I think, but I don't know. I'm kind of going with Henry here. I think like either way she's gonna suffer. So like let's just like do her a bit of grace and just let her like be anonymous from this list because either way it
no,
wouldn't
no,
be
no,
very.
no. But then we have to name check her. I think
I
what
think
we
she
could
has
possibly
to be a Bond
entertain is
girl.
ranking them separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Hmm.
So then, where are we going to put? All right, good night. I think we can say straight away goes 9th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Below
she goes
Solitaire.
last place.
Yeah, below Solitaire. So she's 9th. Well, she'll be 10th in a moment. Because where are we going to put Miss Anders?
The problem is it's not
Probably
a problem
above
with her
Domino,
character.
to
it's
be
just-
fair. Like, probably goes second.
Nah, no way above.
The only
Domino,
problem with
like,
her is like her scenes. Like it's not a fault of her character, but it's just the scenes are like so like uncomfortable. It's unreal.
they are uncomfortable, and it just like there's no like.
Yeah, but she's an
genuine,
uncomfortable
like-
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's uncomfortable. That's like the only thing about her, though. But like, there are other characters who are also uncomfortable, like Domino, who like sell their part way
Yeah.
better.
Who
and,
is
like,
below Domino right now?
Honey.
I think she goes below Honey because even
Yeah,
Honey has
probably.
like a better executed story, and I think
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
All right. I'll put
but
Miss Anders.
even above Tatiana is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
for me,
Miss Anders
but,
goes
yeah.
4th then. I would have probably put her a bit higher, but I just think because she's actually like unique in terms of her interest and how involved she
Yeah, but
basically
she's out of
creates.
place in the film. That's the problem.
Yeah, but she creates the whole
Yeah.
film basically. You know, she like makes this all
Not
happen.
really.
Yeah,
It's more
her,
like
Yeah,
her
she does,
plan.
she does literally get the ball rolling with the bullet she sends.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
And she's a
which
very
is kind
tragic
of
character.
debatable.
But okay, 4th, I guess. Okay, I can live with that. Now the villain. Number 1, Blofeld, Donald Pleasance. Number 2, Goldfinger. Number 3, Telly Savalas Blofeld. Number 4, Dr. Kananga. Number 5, Dr. No. Number 6, Rosa Klebb. Number 7, Emiliana Largo. Number 8, Charles Grays Blofeld. Where are you putting Christopher Lee's Scaramanga?
I actually almost want to put him above. What's his name?
Telly
Kananga.
Savalas. Wait, you put him above Goldfinger?
No, I said
No,
I
he
put
said
him above
Kananga.
Kananga.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd be tempted to put him above Telly Savalas' Blofeld actually.
Nah, I'm not as comfortable with that because the thing is with I don't know if it's right on the part of the writers, but like when Telly Savalas Blofeld says something, it's like it's worked with very well. But like when, as you said, with the fight scene where like there's the kickboxing, it's like he's saying his thing and then like no one's listening. It's just like I think he suffers a bit from the writing, but yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
If
I'm
if
not
his
sure.
writing was better, I would have put him above, purely for the concept's sake, above Telly Savalas. But I think the writing suffers him just a little bit too much. So I'm putting him
Yeah.
just below. But he's still like very good Bond in my opinion.
Yeah,
'cause
okay.
Literally.
Scaramanga goes in at number 4 then, below Telly Savalas Blofeld and above Dr. Kananga. I think that's fair.
Yeah, because he carries the film quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, although what I will say, the small criticism I would put is it's not his fault, Christopher Lee, but I feel like the film slows down when he's in it. It's a really well paced film, but then when he's there, it just slows down. But then you're slowing it down for a very good.
The only other thing is like what I never got with him is like in the funhouse he's like wearing a tracksuit. Like what is his like outfit there? Like you'd want to wear something black at least. Like that would be like a proper assassin.
Well, it's his training, isn't it? So.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Okay, Henchman. Number 1, Odd Job. Number 2, Red Grant. Number 3, T, He and Co. Number 4, Bunt. Number 5, Winton Kid. Number 6, Fiona. Number 7, Hands. Where are we putting Knick Knack?
maybe below Winton Kid or above him. I'm not really sure.
I think maybe above Winton Kid because he's really like memorable and he does
Actually,
like
I put him below Winton Kid. Sure.
Yeah, I think I would put
Because like
him
Winton
below
Kid,
as
they
well.
at least have some like good lines.
I like
they
Winton
go on.
Kid. And
They're-
this
their
almost feels like
their
a bit
performance is like not.
yeah, this felt a bit demeaning almost, you know.
Yeah. Their
Yeah.
fourth act is not as it is like also like kind of lets them down a bit, but it's not as bad as like Nick Nack's.
And the ending is so crap with him. It's just like, they could have. I'm sure they could have done this a bit better.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
anyway,
they've
the
run
next
out of,
Bond
like,
film,
filming time, you know?
the next henchman takes a slightly different direction, we can say.
Yeah.
Car vehicle, I don't think we have one in this
Yeah, the
noteworthy.
car.
M is still Bernard Lee. Q is still Desmond
Mhm.
Llewellyn. Moneypenny is still Lois Maxwell. Okay, the ally / Felix Leiter. We have number 1, Draco and Campbell. Number 2, Tiger Tanaka. Number 3, Quarrel and Leiter. Number 4, Quarrel and Leiter. Number 5, Quarrel Jr. and Leiter and Strasser. Number 6, Karen Bay. Number 7, Leiter and Goldfinger. Number 8, Leiter and Thunderball. Number 9, Leiter and Diamond Star Forever. Where are we putting
Hip.
Hip? Yeah.
I'm like I waited to put him at the bottom just because he like literally like left double as
Yeah. Hip and his
and
I think
knees.
so, yeah.
inexplicably as well. Like they never explain why he doesn't like turn.
And he doesn't really
back.
help, apart from giving Bond like a handstand,
Yeah, and giving like good night to so
Mind you, Lice from Diamonds Are Forever, he was shit, man. Like,
Yeah,
I
shit.
think he goes.
Yeah, just put him up because at least he's a guy you don't forget about him. He's like a happy face,
No,
like,
I do forget about him as well, but not as much as Diamonds Are Forever Lighter.
Yeah, well, I actually couldn't tell which one was lighter. Like,
Yeah.
All right, he goes 8th then, above Lighter from Diamonds Are Forever, but below Lighter from Thunderball.
God,
Okay.
in Thunderball at this point.
8th. Gadget. We have the Rolex from Live and Let Die at number 1. Number 2, we have the attaché case. Number 3, we have the cigarette. Number 4, Oddjob's hat. Number 5, the rebreather. Number 6, the Wolf Peep Cake. Number 7, the mousetrap. Which gadget doesn't really have gadgets much in this film?
No, not really. You got the Homer,
Yeah, and
We're
the
not-
golden
we're
gun,
not-
but he never uses the golden gun.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't know.
Doesn't use Homer either, really. Actually, I don't think we have a
Do you
nomination.
think we should change the rule a bit because this is the whole film is about like
No,
the
this
amount
has
of
to be.
golden gun.
It has to be like a gadget that Bond uses.
Yeah,
All right.
Then again,
Well,
which
in
is
that
why we
case, we-
nominate one because we didn't do that for vehicles, so it's fine. The theme song. Number 1, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 2, the James Bond theme. Number 3, Live and Let Die. My numbers are all over the place. Number 4, Goldfinger. Number 5, You Only Live Twice. Number 6, Thunderball. Number 7, Diamonds Are Forever. And number 8, From Russia with Love. Where we pick the man with the golden gun?
above Thunderball, maybe.
Mm,
Okay, interesting. What do you think, Tom?
I think above Thunderball as well, actually, because it's catchy. It's probably
Yeah,
catchiest
I
Bond
think
song.
that's fair.
but
So, man, why is Diamonds Are Forever so low?
I don't know because it was. I don't know.
Diamonds
I think
Are
this is
Forever's
better. I think this is better than the Diamonds Are for Everyone because at least you remember the.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Oh, Diamonds
more
Are Forever is pretty good. Okay, all right. Well, we'll put the man with the golden gun at 6th then. The M with TGG. Opening sequence. Number 1, Goldfinger. Number 2, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 3, From Russia with Love. Number 4, You Only Live Twice. Number 5, The Thunderball Funeral. Number 6, Live and Let Die. Number 7, Diamonds Are Forever. Where are we going to put
think-
the opening for the opening for this is probably the best that you get without Bond, I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
I
Although-
think this.
What do you think?
I think it goes above the Thunderbolt one because that actually.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wasn't the
and-
opening of?
You Only Live Twice
I've
is...
actually forgotten the opening for On Her Majesty's Secret Service. It was him meeting Tracy, right? Yeah, well,
Yeah, it was. That was a really top tier.
That was very
opening.
cool.
yeah.
I think, Henry, you compared this with From Russia with Love, the opening for that, which is a
Yeah.
pretty valid comparison. But does this go below or above that?
I think it's
I think it goes below.
better. I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it is cool because you see Roger Moore at the end, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, true. I like that reveal, kind of the wax.
Yeah.
comes back for the payoff
Okay,
at the end, too.
okay. So I think it goes 3rd then, we're saying, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Low on Her Majesty's Secret Service and above From Russia with Love. Yeah, I think that's cool. Okay, the Sigma moment. Number 1, Goldfinger, I own the club. Number 2, Red Grant. Number 3, Blofeld's extortion. Number 4, Dr. No. Number 5, Tracy, Countess. Number 6, Blofeld, prepare my battle submarine. Number 7, David Niven. Number 8, names it for tombstones, baby. Number 9, I did it for king and country. So we're definitely nominating
Yeah. I'm
when
the
he
new
kills
chairman
High
of-
Fat.
Yeah, High Fat has resigned. Mr. Fat has resigned. I'm the new chairman of the board. It's
Okay.
just all
And then
the-
he always liked that porcelain. Put him in it. Very cool. Where are we putting that though? I don't think it goes that high. It is cool, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
maybe
I
below
think it goes
Tracy.
just under the.
Yeah.
I think it's around the same kind of level as Prepare My Bath of Sub
Yeah.
immediately.
I think it goes above Preparing About Submarine, below Tracy.
Yeah, because it's a cool line. Like,
Yeah.
Piranha Battle Sub is just like it's kind of it's only funny because like he just said it right after like telling the guy,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to stay by your post, you know. That's bad.
Okay, so Mr. Fat has resigned.
I think yeah.
Well, I'm the chairman of the board now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'm
it's
the
the
new
whole
chairman of the board, you know.
Fat has resigned. Sorry, I have to type it in. I'm the sheriff. Okay, I'm the chairman now of the board. Sorry, of the board. Okay. The film, number 1, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 2, Goldfinger. Number 3, You Only Live Twice. Number 4, Live and Let Die. Number 5, Doctor No. Number 6, From Russia with Love. Number 7, Thunderball. Number 8, Diamonds Are Forever. Number 9, Casino Royale. Where are we putting the man with the golden gun?
This is actually quite tough for me.
I would put it either. I would put
Can
it.
you list? Can you list the thing again? Because
Yeah, number 1, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 2, Goldfinger. Number 3, You Only Live Twice. Number 4, Live and Let Die. Number 5, Doctor No. I don't think it's going below them. I would,
I'd put it
I
above
think.
Doctor No probably at least.
no.
Oh yeah,
no,
I
no,
think
no.
it's pretty close to You Only Live Twice, actually.
Really, the man with the
Yeah.
golden gun, man.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I think it would
below
go. I would put
Doctor
it
No.
4th, below You Only Live Twice, but above Live and Let Die.
I
Yeah, I
I
think
think
it's
this goes
fair.
below Doctor No, like because this film, at least that didn't have any glaring weaknesses in it, whereas this has like characters who are like letting down stuff and just like poor music choices that are just
Yeah, I guess.
ruining.
No, I
Yeah,
think the
I don't
music.
think
It's getting
It's
the
weird.
soup,
This film
man.
has really high highs and low lows, whereas Doctor No is like more of an even Steven, right? So
yeah, I think we should like put and
I
but
think
it
it does
has
go
good
above Live and
moments
Let
as
Die,
well.
though, man.
Yeah.
Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die is even better than Doctor No. Like, why would you?
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
the Man with the Golden Gun is like.
Maybe it goes between Doctor No and Under Live and Let Die.
Nah, I think this is way more entertaining. I would watch this a million times over Live and Let Die. This is much more
Yeah.
entertaining. It's better paced. It's very straightforward plot, which I really enjoy. It's establishing Roger Moore a lot better.
Yeah.
It does have some
I
really
don't know.
weak shit moments, but it's not like Live
Yeah,
and Let
you
Die is
don't
the perfect.
gore
I'm
so
not. I'm
much.
not. No. Live and Let Die. I think has like way like less glaring weaknesses than this film, and I'd say not even Doctor No. Like Doctor No's not like a boring or terrible film in any parts, and I think that has to be recognized.
But
But
which one would you sooner watch?
Yeah.
If you're, I'm going to drag it back to the OG question, man. And Henry's pretty much going to have the casting vote here. So you're going to you're like in Castaway, man. You're shipwrecked on an island, man. You've got like a DVD player, and you can take one DVD with you. You can either take Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, or Doctor No. Which one are you taking with you? Because I'm taking The Man with the Golden Gun all day long.
We have to agree on that.
I'd
thing
I'd
is-
take Live and Let Die any day, and even after that, Doctor No. And
The thing
then-
is, when you
because the
talk
man with the
about the
golden
key-
gun just like.
Yeah.
I
when you talk
can't
about the
believe we're
key
having
like
this discussion.
like problems, is like the thing is with the Man with the Golden Gun, they're kind of like they're parts that aren't good, but they're not like key parts. Kind of like for example, like Kananga's death is like a part that you can't ignore in the film. It's just like so
It's
stupid.
easy to forget, to be fair. Like, and then like
Got that image
I
burned
don't
into
know.
my head, man.
I just forget it rather easy, but everything else is like good about that. The action, the characters, the goons, like the
I think
song.
you have really good characters here. What I like is like there's some small things which I enjoy. Like you get really good character developments of Q and M a little bit. You get
Good.
I like
bridge
all the
scenes.
even the small characters are really good. Like Lazar, when Bond's going from A to B to C, there's like it's an interesting journey. The whole thing, Yeah, I think this. I mean, we've got a majority anyway, so I think it goes 4th then. Below You Only Live Twice, above Live and Let Die, for now. Which I must admit, I can't remember exactly what I did as my personal rankings, but I think I put it a lot lower at the time. But I really enjoyed watching it, I must say, and probably on if I was just going off memory, I'd have probably put this bit lower. But when I watched it last night, I was like entertained. That's the main thing at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
I put The Man with the Golden
All
Gun.
right. Well, democracy. So
Yep.
that's how
Yep.
it is.
Next week, The Spy Loved Me. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. So same bat time, same bat channel.